All right.
Go. All right, guys. How we doing? It's time for Caliber Corner Season 6, episode number 292. Taurus, or Taurus, as some you might call it, firearms. Awesome and affordable, or awful and avoidable? Let's chat. Let's talk Taurus Firearms for a little bit. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, he's just doing this to just rip on the brand and so on. And you might be surprised with my experiences and my opinion about the brand, but we've also got a panel joining us today too, and I think they've probably owned a few Taurus Firearms in their time too. So let's go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Yeah, Gary, I lost count. How many times I bought them and sold them and rebought them again because I missed them. Every time you let your Taurus gun go, it's like letting a child go that you kind of sort of miss. But anyway, all right. So Single Shot, you're joining us today. How's everything going, man? How you doing? You good?
Going well. Busy. We've been doing a lot of stuff at the house there and getting things straightened around there. And I'm headed back to the home location here now. I'll be there Wednesday afternoon, and we'll get some more stuff done there. I got a new zero turn coming, so that thing is going to be all kinds of fun to play with.
Mower or what?
Mower. Oh yeah,
Mower.
Brand new one.
Nice.
So we're going to have that to upkeep that 6 acres of lawn I got. So
see, it was called the zero turn mower, cool. Zero turn mower by my dad because I had to mow and he didn't have to turn, so it was zero turns for him. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I grew up in an apartment complex and my dad did the mowing at the apartment complex. I didn't even mow my first lawn until I was in my 20s when I bought my house. I had a friend come over and show me how to do it because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm like, how do you operate? Am I supposed to overlap? Am I not supposed to overlap? How am I, if I had $1 for every sprinkler head I destroyed that first year that I was a lawn owner, a lawn owner, homeowner, whatever, it was pathetic is what it was. So
yes, well, I want to say hello to everybody, especially Gary and Hillbilly. Good to see you guys. Been a while since I've had a chance to talk with y'all, but I hope everybody has a good one. Hello to everybody in the chat, and hope everybody's having a great day.
Oh, absolutely, man. We'll give them a little shout out here in just a little bit. And yeah, I've had guests on the last 4 weeks, and we only had a panel out of the last 4 weeks. So we just got the panel back, and we're just talking guns like we used to. So yeah, we're going to keep on doing it. All right. Also joining us, we've got Hillbilly Up, American Hillbilly. Hillbilly, how's your afternoon going? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I mean,
yeah, you fully recovered from the seltzer incident. You're feeling normal again. You're okay. You got nursed back to health and stuff. You're good.
Yeah, that's why I'm feeling good, because once you hit that low in your life, there's only one way you can go, and that's up.
Absolutely. There's nothing lower than somebody who consumes hard seltzer. That's about, that's oof, man. I don't know. I don't understand those people, but that's a discussion for another time. So what is going on? Single Shot keeps trying to bump back in. I keep trying to add him and he keeps disappearing. So we'll try to get Single Shot back in here. So Hillbilly Up, what's coming up on your channel, man? You got a live show that you do. What's new in your world, man? What do you got going on?
Yeah, on Saturday nights, we got Guns, Beer, and Therapy. It's at 9 o'clock Central time zone. I think you and Gary would agree with me. That's the best time, time zone to be in.
Oh yeah. It's up there. It's up Central Time is absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's where some of the greatest world leaders and inventions came from, like Kool-Aid and let's see what else. What did Kansas invent, Gary? You guys gave us Spam came from Nebraska. The McRib came from Nebraska.
Oh, let's see.
I mean, the whole Central Times. Pizza Hut came out of Kansas.
Pizza Hut, White Castle.
Yeah. Casey's is maybe Iowa. That's another wonderful, another Great Plains invention. So,
let's see. Fort Scott Munitions. Let's not forget about that.
Johnny Carson, Dick Cheney. He's from Lincoln. Johnny Carson, right?
Bob Dole,
Fred Astaire. I mean, we could go on for hours, Hillbilly. But anyway, we rest our case, Your Honor. No, it's
definitely.
In defense of the Central Time Zone, it is the greatest one out there. So, Missouri, where we get the best fireworks.
It's also definitely home of the current Super Bowl champions.
You bet you don't forget
that. Oh man! So guys, make sure you get over there and subscribe to Hillbilly Up channel. I mean, guys, it's lots of good stuff over there. Lots of fun, lots of family-friendly entertainment over there going on. All kinds of produce being turned into guacamole and so on. So
my channel's listed as entertainment, not as gun knowledge.
Well, I call it education. Because I learned so much how to make guacamole. I mean, that right there is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Saving the world one last seltzer can at a time. So there you go.
Yeah, I got several videos coming out. So
cool.
Yeah, we will keep them pumping out as long as everybody enjoys them. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely. So maybe we'll get some new high point stuff coming out this fall. Who knows? Maybe we'll finally get that E-Cannon Gen 2 out or Gen 3 or whatever we're waiting on, the YC9 G2 or whatever they call it. So
yeah,
let that happen.
3 years now. So.
They need to do a compact JXP10, like a JXP10 compact would be awesome. Like that'd be that since Glock won't make a single stack 10 mil, compact, then we'll just have to wait for High Point to give us one. So
well, I mean that cut probably 20 pounds off the JXP10.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dude. That thing would drop at least that dropped 50% of its weight right there. So reduce back on the barrel a little bit. Yeah. And then also joining us, guys, the man, the myth, the legend, Gizzard Gary. Gary, how's your day going, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. It's going about as well as any day does. Just typical day here in the nation's heartland. Just loving life.
Yeah.
Retired now, so don't have to go to work or anything like that.
Nice. I kind of get a taste of that every summer for about 3 months, and then I go back. So, but I know I'm getting close. I'm getting close.
There you go.
So, Gary, what do you got coming up on the channel, man? Give us a little teaser. Give us a little idea of what's heading your way.
Well, every Friday night we have my weekly podcast, which is Foul Territory. That is at 9 p.m. Central. We have some serious firearms discussion, 2A discussion. We give away some swag, and then we view viewer-submitted photos, memes, and stuff like that. We just basically have a good time for about 2 hours every Friday. Love to have everybody in there. Interspersed in there is some gun content, product reviews, and some stuff we've caught at industry events and stuff like that. So hopefully a little bit of something for everybody on my channel. It's
kind of the Swiss Army knife of 2A entertainment when you think about it. You just kind of get a little bit of everything. It's the Leatherman pocket tool of 2A entertainment. So there you go.
I'm not particularly good at anything, but I do a little bit of everything.
Do a little bit of everything well, right? Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. So we got some comments coming in about Taurus Firearms already. Let's take a look at it before we just kind of get into the discussion about the different models and stuff. And X Adam 1 says, I don't like Taurus's style, but I wouldn't have any problems owning one if that's what my budget allowed. That being said, I currently don't have any Taurus products. And, we're going to kind of get into the G series because I think that's what the G2 on up series, because that's really what kind of brought Taurus to the spotlight and really got in the hands of lots and lots of gun owners. Part of it is that newer style. Part of it could have been internet hype, YouTube coverage. Another part of it was the price, undercutting everybody. And at one point you could pick up those G2Cs and PT111 G2s for like $149, sometimes before rebate,
Yeah, I remember those days.
They was giving them away. Now I think they're maybe closer to 200, but Taurus does rebates and stuff like that. So let's get a couple comments out of the way here, and then we'll give a little shout out on the YouTube side, and we'll get started here. Georgia Trucker 69 says, where'd he go? I just saw his comment here a second ago. He disappeared. He had mentioned that he disappeared. All right, there you are, Georgia. Okay. So you said, glad you're talking about this. I've been out for almost 3 years, but seriously considering Taurus. Just hadn't seen all their newest stuff. G3 was the newest thing I've seen. Yeah, and there's a few suggestions that I would make to Taurus that I wish they would just go ahead and do that they haven't done yet. And they really should if they really want to keep up with Palmetto State Armory with the Dagger series, which is $300, offers a very compelling package for somebody that wants an inexpensive firearm or wants, that Glock experience without spending Glock money. I hate to say it, but I mean, yeah, those daggers are pretty solid. I fired a couple and they're very nice. Scott's EDC and such with the super chat. He says, my G2C is the first gun that I bought, thousands of rounds through it, ergonomic, affordable, and the most important part, it always goes pew. And Scott, I hate to tell you this, but I'm not seeing the G2Cs listed on Taurus's current catalog right now. So I'm going to guess that production on that's probably quietly coming to an end as it starts to disappear. They also made the G2S, which was the single stack version of the G2C. You could also get those in 9 and 40. I don't know if they ever did an S and 40, but yeah, there's a lot of just little niche models that they made along the way that's really added a lot of variety that I think makes it a kind of a go-to. And honestly, I've never had any negative experiences personally with anything Taurus, but as we go around the panel and talk Taurus, we'll see what your experiences have been. But also joining us, we've got Rich White. Rich, how's your day going, man? What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. What you been up to, brother?
Forgot you had a show today and was watching a tech video.
Well, I'm glad you're here because we're actually going to be switching back to Saturdays, I think, after this week, because I'll be going back to work again, and the Monday afternoon thing is just really hard for me to do. So I'll be going back to Saturdays, and then we'll go from there. So we'll be Saturdays at 8 a.m. like we had been for 250 some episodes or 220 or whatever. So
if anybody was wondering, the video I was watching was from Linus Tech Tips. He built a swimming pool at his new house. The swimming pool is his PC cooler for his computer.
Oh God! So he's pumping the water out of the pool through the coolant lines of his PC and then back into his pool.
Yes, he basically turned his swimming pool into,
and because he runs a YouTube channel,
CPU cooler.
And not only that's probably the most expensive tax deduction anybody's ever created for their home because he's using it for his job. So you could technically deduct that as a business expense. It's a water cooler.
His job. It's his home computer for his kids to game on and stuff.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that if he's using it for his channel, you could use that as a tax write-off. That guy's brilliant, man.
Yeah, what he did was he took a server rack.
Yeah.
Instead of building each blade as a server, each blade is an individual gaming computer that he then has running through fiber optics to monitors in the rooms where everybody games or watches videos and stuff on the computers. It has the cooling loop running from the server room where he put this rack to the swimming pool and back again.
Dude, that is insane, man. That is absolutely nuts. Oh, God. All right. So
you know what Prime 93 and all that is, right?
Do I know what?
Prime 93 is the really hard stressing thing that really stresses your CPU and GPU.
Is it like overclocking and stuff? Because I've never actually done that on my systems.
This is a where it tests your CPU and your GPU, where you do hardcore benchmark.
Oh, yeah, I've done benchmark testing on PCs, but I've used other programs to do it. Just not
Prime
that
93.
One, so,
Prime 93 is old, but it hammers your CPU and GPU. He went from having the CPU with a regular water loop at 73 degrees on the CPU, at 63 degrees on the GPU, dropped the CPU 20 degrees.
So we're talking Fahrenheit, not Celsius, because he's in Canada.
No,
right?
We're talking Celsius. He's in Canada. We're talking Celsius. 20 degrees Celsius. From 73 degrees Celsius to 53 degrees Celsius on the CPU.
Now, I'm an American, which means I have no grasp of the metric system, but that is a pretty significant amount of temperature that was being dropped there. So that's so 20 degrees is almost like 60 degrees or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that right?
Yeah, somewhere under
20 degrees is what, like 60-ish, 30 degrees is 80.
The day when they filmed the video, they said the air temperature in Fahrenheit was 86 degrees, and they said that would translate to being something like 30-some degrees in Celsius.
Oh my God, that's insane, dude.
So to go from 73 degrees on the CPU down to like 53 degrees under full load from Prime 93, that's an insane temperature drop.
Well, when you've got a swimming pool for coolant, I'm sure that anything's possible, and you have Linus's computer knowledge, you can make it happen. So, I've never gotten into the realm of active cooling in my PCs. Never needed to, but I've always wanted to, but I might just give in at some point. So, cool.
I didn't mean to hijack the chat, but it just blew my mind watching this video with the temperature differences he was getting.
While we got you here, Rich.
Like I get algae in my computer.
Well, that's
you got sealed lines. You have sealed lines.
You're running through it's constantly running, though. It's going to be a constant loop where the pump is constantly pumping water through it. Plus, you have antimicrobials in the water.
It's probably chlorinated anyway.
Yeah. Because it's using the swimming pool water and whatnot. Well, not the swimming pool's direct water, but you put antimicrobials in the water loop itself.
Yeah.
Basically, the way that he had to set up the swimming pool, the bottom of the swimming pool is a giant radiator that's radiating the heat from the radiator up through the water in the swimming pool.
Dude, that is insane, man. That is insane. That's a brilliant idea, actually. It's a very smart idea. So Rich, while we got you here, tell us a little bit about your shows that you do. You've got a couple podcasts that you have to offer people. What are they? What do you got?
Let's see. Saturday nights, except for this past weekend, because we flip-flop the shows, we do the wrestling chat at 8:05 p.m. Eastern, where we just talk pro wrestling and whatever else, like pop culture, like sports, whatever comes up. And Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do This Week Unloaded on the Unloaded Media channel, and that's just a general news, politics, firearms, arguing over whether math works on Mars, I don't know if you got this.
We're going to need it to get there, so I would suppose so. We're going to need it to live there, so yeah, probably. I'm guessing, but yeah. Oh, man. Cool. Well, guys, make sure you check out Rich's shows. He's got a lot of great shows, and he's been doing his shows for a long time and always has an awesome panel, and yeah, lots of good stuff. So let's give a little shout out real quick on the YouTube side. Let's see who's watching us. We got Kevin Jung out there. We got Tommy Gunn, Chris from the 740. Chris is busy at work right now. Otherwise, he said he'd be here. Let's see, New York Outcast. We got Woods out there. Honcho Fett's in the house. What's up, Honcho? We also have Kim Williams. That's my mom. She says, hello, son. Hi, everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend. Let's get the party started. I make some killer guacamole. Mom, you misspelled that. Shoot, I forgot this isn't a cooking show. No, Mom, we will make this into a cooking discussion if we have to. So she's just here to keep me in line. So you guys know that we'll keep everything G-rated. So G for guacamole. M. Gabriel's out there. Bear Paw's out there. Scott's EDC and such is in the house. Make sure you guys check out Scott's channel. X Adam 1's out there. JH586. Gizzard Gary pulling double duty along with Hillbilly. And yeah, I think we'll go ahead and get this discussion started. So we're going to do a little roundtable on this one. Just share with me kind of your experiences with Taurus Firearms in general. The good, the bad, the ugly. Gary, we're going to start off with you. Mention some of the models that you enjoy and maybe some of the models that you haven't enjoyed so much, maybe some of the issues that you've had.
Well, I started out with a Taurus. My first pistol was a TCP, the 380 little mouse gun. Still have it.
Yeah.
I went from there to a couple months later, I bought the PT-111 G2, which I had for a number of years before I sold it. I've also got the Model 85. That's the 38 Special Revolver. I got the 1911. I've got the PT-22. I've got the TX-22. So, and I also have the G2S that you mentioned. So,
okay.
I have a few Taurus firearms out there now. There's only been one bad experience really that I've had, and that is with the Taurus Spectrum.
Yeah, the Spectrum, which they don't even make anymore, right? I mean, that one's disappeared.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken,
I got that soon after launch, probably too soon after launch. They didn't quite have it refined yet, and it was having striker issues, all kinds of light strikes and stuff like that on it. I finally couldn't deal with it, and I got rid of it when I bought my Glock 42. So, and but yeah, other than that, I really enjoy the Taurus firearms I have. In fact, I'm probably looking to get more. I'm looking to get in a G3C maybe, or maybe a GX4. I'm kind of interested in both those.
We're definitely going to take a look at all these models so people have an idea what we're talking about, because we're mentioning all these names and acronyms, and a lot of these are fairly new. You know, they haven't been out for a while. So, Jerry, I can't remember you, or let's see, Gary, you said you did not have a GX4. You did, or you did not? You do not. Okay. And that's been one that's been kind of controversial. I think there was a recall on some of them. You know, they have had some issues, and I think maybe it was kind of rushed to market a little bit. And it's kind of a departure from the other models in the series. Whereas like your G2C, G3C, G3L, they'll kind of have the same kind of lineage. So Taurus kind of got all the kinks worked out of those. And those had issues too early in their life, in their infancy.
If you take the PT-111 G2 that I got clear back in 2015 and put it right next to the G3C, it's pretty much the same gun.
Yeah, I'm going to show that off real quick. So, and the reason why this is, I don't even think you can even really buy them new anymore. You might be able to find them over on Gunbroker and stuff, but they've been out of production for a while. So the PT-111 G2 was one of the first guns that Taurus, I mean, it was the Millennium G1 or whatever. It was a redesigned version of that. It was a newer version of that. And these came out, they were what, $200, Gary, $199 before rebate. Yeah. And it just, that really started to bring a lot of, and they had this campaign called Carry On, and they were promoting this as a carry gun, a great grip texture, decent capacity, 12 plus one, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 12 or 10? I think it's 12, isn't it? They came out in a variety of colors. The front sight was Glock compatible. The rear sight was proprietary. So the PT-111 G2, when they went to the G2C from the PT-111 G2, they lost the gun lock that Taurus used to put on the guns. They had a little key lock you could put on to lock the gun from firing, which they had on a lot of their other guns and maybe still do. That disappeared, and I thought maybe the loaded chamber indicator also disappeared, and they just had a little peephole on the top that you could look and see if it was loaded. So. And they also went to a Tennifer finish later on with the G3s and G3Cs, and they had kind of a matte black, just kind of a spray paint finish on the original PT-111 G2. Now, they did have some problems with those early on with the coils skipping off the back and the gun would lock. They went to a flat coil spring, if I'm not mistaken, at like a year into production. But there's tons of aftermarket support for these, which will be an episode for a different time. Gary, did you ever have any problems with your PT-111 G2 or not?
No, not really. It pretty much ate any ammo I fed through it. Pretty easy to shoot and everything. I really never had any complaints about it. Felt good to hold on the hand. The only problem was back in the early days to find holsters and stuff to go with it was kind of hit or miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
But nowadays, I don't really think that's an issue. There's quite a bit of stuff out there.
Yeah. Just want to address a comment out there. New York Outcast, I'm going to call you out. Travis changes his schedule more than some people change socks. No, we go to Saturdays in the summertime, or we go to Mondays in the summertime. We go back to Saturdays in the fall. That's it. I think I've had one time period for 6 months where we did Monday night episodes, 4 years ago? So typically we're, a lot of people keep saying, oh, I'm finally catching your episode. We've been Mondays for 12 weeks now, roughly. So we're just going to be going back to Saturdays in the fall when work starts back up again for me. So anywho, Scott's EDC and such says my Spectrum's been problematic as well. Just, the design, maybe ammo finicky, tight tolerances. When you start to get into little pocket 380s, they're very much either they're going to work well or they're not going to work well. And unfortunately, the Spectrum was one that, again, I think they just kind of rushed that one to the market too, like the GX4, and had a lot of problems. Nice Strike says, I've had to work on a few Spectrums. But the problem with Spectrum is they made the firing pin out of spec on it. Oh, okay. So that light primer strikes and stuff, Gary, what'd you say your issue was with it? What'd you have going on?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Light primer strikes pretty much every other round. And I even took the thing apart, cleaned it, tried to figure out what the problem was. But you could, and I did a demo on this, I think. Yeah. You could put a pencil inside the barrel, like you can on a striker, and test the striker weight, and it would barely push a pencil out of the end of the barrel. Whereas other guns I had would shoot clear across the room.
Yeah.
It's like this.
I'd like to give more context on the Spectrum when Gary.
Yeah, it's not hitting that striker very hard at all.
So, Nice Strike, what have you experienced with the work you've done on them? Have you had to replace them with new firing pins?
I don't know. I've told some of you guys before the reason around why I'm not doing a lot of stuff right now is because I'm moonlighting at my local gun shop as a part-time gunsmith. I'm doing work on some of the stuff he's got, and because he takes in a lot of stuff in trade and whatnot and pawn and whatnot, and I've been working on a couple 111s, and I've noticed a trend with the Spectrums that we've gotten in, and it seems like all of them have the firing pin being just slightly out of spec. Like, I don't know if the firing pin just went, if the metal just
short,
went in on itself or whatnot, but it's not the proper length. And sometimes it causes the slide to run too far forward. So if you try and pull the trigger more than twice, it stops firing.
Okay.
And it's a pain in the ass to fix.
Yeah, not fun to do. Is it just a disassembly on it kind of a pain? Is that part of the issue? Is trying to get the striker out or what?
Actually, disassembling it's not too hard because all you need is a flathead screwdriver.
Yeah, it's fairly modular.
Yeah.
But it's just the problem. The real problem is trying to find a replacement for the firing pin because they no longer make replacement parts.
Oh wow!
I mean, you can get a recoil. You can get a recoil rod. You can get the spring for the recoil rod. You can get internal parts, but you cannot get the firing pin.
So I wonder if there's I wonder if like Lakeline LLC makes replacement firing pins. Somebody will probably step up and make them because it seems like whenever there's a demand for certain parts, you just seem to find a company that does it.
I won't tell you what I did, but I can tell you that it involves a welder.
Okay, then.
it involves adding material and using a file.
Okay.
And by the way, that's a trick Martin Novak taught me.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I'm sure it would probably do the job. So yeah. Scott's EDC and such, he says that the loaded chamber indicator was still on the G2Cs. Mine has one. Yeah, there were just some very minor changes between the PT-111 G2 and the G2C. I don't remember everything specifically. Lock disappeared and maybe front serrations or texturing or something. It was very minor. And then they just kind of went with the whole G series designation after that, the G2C and the G3 and the tactical and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
The work I've been doing on the 111s and like the G2s and the G2Cs really the only thing is that you need to be aware of that wears down in those guns are the springs. That's the only, those are the only things I've had to deal with. I've only had to swap the springs out or maybe swap a barrel out because somebody wanted a threaded barrel on one.
Oh, okay. Armsman says, had a Taurus 24/7 years ago. Yeah, that was a much older model, like maybe one was like early 2000s or something, mid 2000s. Got rid of it, nothing but issues. Took a chance with a G2C, G3C, and GX4. All three have been good. They definitely stepped their game up. Yeah, I mean, and addressing issues when they pop up too. Although the problem is that they sell so many guns, and it wasn't until recently that they had a US based like repair facility. Because I think for a while there, didn't the guns used to have to get sent back to Brazil to get repaired? And then because it would take months literally to get your gun repaired and get it back. And now they're based out of Florida, if I'm not mistaken, in Cocoa, Florida.
People don't realize about Taurus is they are a worldwide company. The U.S. is just a small fraction of all the business they do.
Oh, yeah.
When you factor in all the guns they sell, if you have 90,000 guns that have something wrong with them, with the sheer number and volume of guns that they sell, that's a minuscule amount. They have contracts with world governments that you wouldn't believe outside the United States, all over the place.
If you want something cool, go to the Taurus website that's in Portuguese. Go to the Taurus Brazil website and look at their catalog. They've got full auto submachine guns. They make their own like M16 variants, M4s. They've got pistols that they don't even sell in the US. They've got 380s, and they've also got a striker fired TS. It looks like the TH, but it's a T. It doesn't look like the TS at all. It's kind of a Glock competitor that they don't even sell in the USA. They've talked about it. It showed up one time on Classic Firearms listed as an incoming gun, but they never sold the TS. And I think it was so it wouldn't cannibalize sales of the G series, which they've banked off of for the last, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, don't they have like a hammer fired version of the G2 or G3 as well that they were been saying that they were going to bring to the US and never did?
Well, I mean, they've got the TH series. They do have the TH series, which is the hammer fired guns, but they don't look like they look.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, they're kind of like it was like the old PT 802s or 901s, whatever they were called. It was the newer version of that. But now they got the TH45, and then they're also going to do a TH10. They're going to do a 10 millimeter also, which we'll take a look at those here in a little bit too. So Rich, what's been your experiences with Taurus Firearms in general?
I've had 2 Tauruses. I had years ago a PT 1911. That thing was solid, but some people have had issues with them. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Honest Outlaw. He had one on his channel. He had nothing but problems with it, and the trigger was awful in the one he had.
Yeah.
I think he was saying it was like 10 to 11 pound trigger on a single action 1911. That's not good.
Now, I'm happy to report that their newer guns have a lot less issues, especially if you just bought a G3 now or you bought a G3C. I don't think you're really going to have to worry about things. I mean, I like Defense Stat. He might be watching out there. His magazine detaching button, I broke it. I was just detaching a magazine and the plastic inside the frame broke when I was pushing the button, and we couldn't get that. You couldn't fix it. So he had to send it back in, and he got a brand new gun, which I subsequently bought from him. So I've actually got the replacement gun for the one that I broke. I bought it from him, and I love it. I got a G3C, just I keep it as just kind of a truck gun, I guess you can say. So
yeah, that was the going joke. He gets a new gun, Travis shoots it, and Travis breaks it right away.
Then I buy the replacement. So yeah, it's kind of an ongoing thing there. So Scott's EDC and such, and Nice Strike, real quick question for you. He says, my Spectrum problem was weird feeding issues that locked up the trigger and slide. Would have to drop the mag and then rack the slide. My gunsmith uncle figured it out, and I can't remember what it was. Nice Strike, did you ever encounter that at all on the Spectrums?
Sometimes that's the firing pin, as I said, that it may not be going all the way forward.
Getting stuck. It's like
it's literally getting stuck in the slide in the striker
channel.
Area.
Okay. Crazy.
That's what that is.
Yeah. Rich, what were you going to say? You had mentioned something also? You had
said, the other one I got is the Taurus G2C, and like Scott said, it does have the loaded chamber indicator on that, and I have had no issue with that whatsoever. I've got close to 1,000 rounds to that gun with no issues at all.
So the only thing I noticed on the PT-111 G2 and the G2C, and I might be the only person on the planet that knows this, is if you dry fire it, if you don't have your finger completely flat on the dingus, on the trigger, if you pull to the right or the left and pull, it's notchy and you almost get like a fake wall. And if you keep pulling, you then hit the wall after, and it'll catch. And the G3C never did that because it's got a fatter, wider trigger and dingus. Gary, have you noticed that too?
I've noticed it on my G2S. Yeah. If
yeah.
you pull
That's
that
the same
trigger even a little bit off to the side versus
it'll catch.
back,
It'll click and
yeah.
catch. I've taken the slide off and looked at it, and I can't quite figure out if it's just some flexing of the parts inside the trigger mechanism when you do it.
If you get used to it and you can avoid it, but yeah, the first time or two, it's like, why is my trigger locking up?
Is this 2-stage? Is this a Geisley? What?
Yeah.
You wish it was a Geisley.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, we talked about this before, and I've tried recreating that with mine, and I can't get it to do it.
And maybe yours is just so broken in, or maybe the tolerances on it are just right that it just doesn't happen. But I've had two. I have two PT-111. I've actually had 3 PT-111 G2s. I would buy one, I sold one, I bought one and sold one, and bought a third one, which I then sold. But all of them had the same issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering because mine's a later one. Because I bought it not long before the G3 came out. I'm wondering if they did something and changed that up in the later G2Cs, where if you guys had the earlier ones, you still had that problem, but mine doesn't because they changed something.
And I'm thinking I had an FTE G2 just like this, and I think it did kind of work itself out over time because I ran a heck of a lot of rounds through it. I modified it quite a bit because I was running different parts on it as they were coming out, making videos. And honestly, the G2, I hate to say it, but that's one of the guns that built my channel because I did a cleaning video on it. I did the Lakeline guide rod installation, the aftermarket sights. I mean,
you slept with it. You took it to the range.
Oh man, it was the golden retriever of handguns, man. It was old reliable, you know.
We remember all the videos, Travis.
Oh, absolutely.
All the videos.
You know it, man. You know it.
But I will tell you to this day, when I go to SHOT Show and I do videos from various companies, the one I do from Taurus is going to get far more videos than anything else I do.
Yeah, when I would talk to Stan at SS Pawn, sub $350 handguns would sell like nothing. I mean, you couldn't keep enough of those in stock. Once you get above $400, just something about that $350 and below price point that just really has a big audience because you've got so many consumers out there maybe that don't know much about firearms. And they'll go look it up on YouTube, and sure enough, it's like, oh, it's the cheapest gun I can get, a Sky, a G2C, G3C.
It also comes down to affordability. Not everybody's going to be able to afford a $400 or $500 handgun or more. It's under $500 or even under $400. You'll get more people buying it because more people can justify that cost compared to like $700 or $800 per hand.
Yeah. And, also with the G2s, and the G3s and stuff, having that mechanical safety, not that I care, but that is a big deal for some people. They like that. So for a lot of first-time gun owners, having a mechanical safety, well, I've known a lot of people, close family members that wanted a mechanical safety on their first gun. And then after when they got their second and third, it's like, I don't want it with mechanical safety.
Comment. Don't read it. Just ignore it.
Chris H said, I recently heard that Taurus is against arming citizens. No, I thought that was their president of their country that's against arming citizens with 9mm, I believe. They don't care because they already have contracts with agencies and military. Yeah, we get that a lot with gun companies. They're, they don't always come out as being pro 2A, and in their own market. I thought Brazil was starting to allow more gun ownership and stuff.
Actually, their current president they just voted in has walked back all of that.
Yeah.
He just went and ruined it. So
yeah, the previous one was
be
much
surprised
more
if you see less stuff coming from Taurus.
Here's one thing too. Armsman makes a good point. I think we'll do an episode on this alone. I want to get Chris in the 740 on here because he's got maybe a little more experience with this than me. But I'm part of this also. I swapped the trigger to just tinkering trigger on the G2C and improved it significantly. Is that where you take out the dingus? But there's like Apex makes aftermarket triggers for it. I think Lakeline does. There's a lot of it's kind of a big job to swap out the trigger on the G series pistols, but there is a lot of support out there now for much better triggers if you don't want to go that route. Yeah.
It's fun. I've done it. I had one from Galloway Precision that I put in my PT-111 G2, and that was a trying experience. And I had video right in front of me on my iPad watching it. It took me probably 45 minutes to get that done. It was definitely an improved trigger.
Yeah, I do want to get one of the last ugly things out about Taurus Firearms. I just want to get this out now before we talk into the models, and then we'll keep doing the roundtable. I just wish Taurus would just make the Toro a standard on the Toro optics cut a standard on all their guns instead of Appling. They Apple computer us. Like they'll come out with a couple little modifications every year, new sights, Glock compatible sights, yada yada yada. It's now enhanced, and then the Toro series comes out, but they don't offer the Toro optics cut across the board. And I wish they would, especially if they want to compete with the PSA Dagger, which will get you into an optics cut for what, almost like $349 or $299 at this point. So I just wish the Toro optics system was just standard on all their guns across the board. And maybe it will be someday, it would just be nice instead of charging an extra $50 to $100 for it.
Do you think they do that so they can still stay in the budget category?
Yeah, and maybe we'll start to see those older issues start to work their way out, and the new ones will all be Toro as a standard as they kind of move up a price point. Yeah, I think so, Gary, because they still offer the G2C for a long time, and you can still find G2Cs in the gun stores new.
While Academy still has them.
Yeah.
If Taurus wants to keep their hold on the budget market as the best budget option, they're going to have to, because if you've seen the prices on the P10C or the P10 series period, including the optics ready,
they're dropping them.
I'm $349 for the CZs.
No, I've seen P10Cs be as low as like $299.
Okay.
PSA, I believe, was discounting the heck out of them.
Yeah, everybody is. I mean, even Grab a Gun has had the non-optics ready P10Cs below $300 recently. They had them down to like 290, 289, somewhere around there.
You can Toro convert your G3s to Toro with an optics cut for $149 from Taurus, and you get several optics plates with it. You get a complete slide. Everything's ready to go. You just literally just put it on your gun and your optics ready. And I'm thinking about doing that with my G3 because I have an early G3 that has the adjustable sights like you see right there in the G2. My G3 does not have the Glock compatible rear sight. And because of it, they're very hard to read. Like the sights are they're kind of subpar. And so I thought about swapping out the sights and putting something else on it. But instead, I think I'm just going to convert it to a Toro. And it's OD green, and they never made an OD green Toro. Not for sale, not that I know of. Gary and Rich, I know we talked about this. We think they've offered them in green before, or they've shown them off and stuff. But I've never actually seen the Toro series being offered in anything other than black. So
they had a wall of those things at the Great American Outdoor Show at their booth in different colors. I don't know if Chris got a chance to take a look at it. Me and Chris were there together for the first day, and it was a pain in the neck to get in to see anything really on the first day. It was a madhouse.
Oh, I bet. And there's a lot of YouTubers that were covering the event now because that's really picked up almost like a third shot show between that and NRAM and the Great American Outdoor Show. You've got all those covered, Let's go and continue the roundtable here. So Gary, we got you. Rich, we got you covered. Night Strike, what's your experience with owning Taurus firearms? You work on them. Have you ever owned one before? I guess I've never asked you. Night Strike, you there?
It'd help if I unmuted myself.
Night Strike, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, Travis, I can hear you.
Look at that.
Anyways, I have Rossi and Heritage Arms firearms, which are subsidiaries of Taurus. I don't have any direct Taurus firearms myself.
Okay.
But I've worked on a lot of them because they're fairly simple to work on.
Yeah, they're not that difficult. Just taking them apart and stuff. Other than just tinkering with the triggers, I think they're much easier to kind of mess with. So
honestly, they're about as modular as like a Glock or like a SIG is these days, honestly.
And lots of aftermarket support because they're so popular. You can get barrels and you can get triggers and you can get springs and you can get replacement firing pins. And I mean, it's there's a lot of support out there for them.
So. But, I just wanted to jump in on the Spectrum because we were having a conversation about the Spectrum and Gary was talking about how awful his was. And I remember the conversation we had about it the day after Gary had gotten it. Me and Gary were having a conversation about it. And Gary's like, I don't know why I got this gun. This is the biggest pile of crap I have ever bought in my life. You remember that conversation, Gary? Because I do, because it was one of those conversations.
There were a lot of problems with them. When they came out there were a lot of gun channels that were really complaining about having issues with them and stuff.
You showed it off, and it looked really nice. I mean, I'm not going to say it didn't look nice. It looked nice, but you were swearing up and down about that thing. You were not happy.
Yeah. I was really disappointed because I was waiting. They announced it, and then it was a year before they finally released the thing. And I was really excited. I finally saw one at a gun show and I picked it up. I was super excited to go shoot this. And all of a sudden it's like, what in the world? It's like, damn.
Yeah, and then the next day we're having a chat and Gary is regaling me on how awful the Spectrum is.
And When you realize, and Travis knows what I'm talking about, I've always been a Taurus guy, so I hated to have to say those things. Yeah. But it's just the truth, that's just the kind of guy I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat things.
I noticed when I was doing my cleaning video and also like the spring replacement video, I said, if you guys have had problems on this, comment down below. Let me know how common of an issue it is. Mm-hmm. And I had also just been kind of switching over to stainless steel guide rods and springs and polymer guns just because I like the gun just seems to function with much more authority, goes into battery with a lot more force. It maybe isn't necessarily healthy for the polymer frame, but I do like how the gun responded to having a stain, because I did that on my SD9 VE. I also did that on a Glock that I had. I did that on the G3, the PT111 G2, and it just really made the gun much more responsive. And I've done videos on that too to show you if it changes anything about it, like accuracy or just ammo issues and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, Travis, it was primarily your fault that I went out and got a Rossi RS-22.
Dude, those are great guns. Do you still have yours? Do you like it?
Yes, I have the one that has. I took that scope that it came on the M1 carbine.
Yeah,
it fits perfectly on the Rossi RS-22.
It's just I have one. I'm just gonna say it's like a poor man's Ruger 1022.
So,
they're
what? So what I did was I put that scope on there, and it's got a threaded barrel, and I'm like, do I really need a silencer? No, I don't need a silencer suppressor on it, but I've got the threads if I want it.
So Tony says, I haven't had much dealing with Taurus aside from a PT 709 Slim, and it was a POS, but I have a Rossi revolver. That's a fantastic gun made by Taurus. Yeah, the Rossi revolver that my stepdad has in 44 mag. It's a snubby. Aside from being a beast to shoot, it's held up well, and the fit and finish on it's great. Timing of it's kept, and it's getting pretty old at this point. I've had a lot of rounds through it. Yeah.
I also love my Rough Rider.
A Heritage Rough Rider? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I got that. I got that, over the Christmas a while back. And I gotta say, shooting that thing, I like the Rough Rider.
Yeah, try the Barkeep. It's even more fun.
Oh, the Barkeep's awesome, man. Dude, I chrono tested mine, dude. Yeah. I love it. It's surprisingly accurate, and it's got a good fit in a full-size man's hand. It actually, I mean, Nice Strike, I know you've got small man hands. But
yes, I know.
I'm just messing with you. But it feels almost like a full-size revolver, though. It's got good balance. It's well built.
The only thing I don't like the Barkeep is the factor that you have to literally use a shim to basically go and push all the shells out.
Oh yeah. It does come with it comes with a shank that you can use.
Yeah, it comes literally
with a prison shank that's in the package that you use to push the shells out. So
the shells out, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. So I'll just get the standard 4-inch, Rough Rider. I'll just get the cylinder so I can use 22 WMR in it, and then just change the grips out if I don't like the grips.
So Tony says I got a Heritage and the Ruger, and the Heritage is better. Yeah, the Ruger Wrangler. I've never fired one of those.
I've never shot that. I've wanted to.
I've shot one. It's all right, but I agree with his assessment.
Does it offer? Is it worth twice the price of a Heritage? I would honestly rather get the Diamondback Sidekick instead, the one that's got the 8 rounds and the swing out cylinder. And
honestly,
yeah,
Tony's mentioned this before. The Ruger Wrangler is like it's about half a bit more heavier than the Rough Rider, and it doesn't feel like it's made out of any better material either.
Okay. It looks a little bit cooler, and they got some neat finishes. But then also, with the grips, there's tons of grips out there.
Granted, the material comment is my comment, my opinion.
Yeah.
But the Wrangler's a bit heavier than the Rough Rider.
And then they also do the Wrangler, they do the Rough Rider as a carbine, which you can get, and they also make long barrel versions of it and stuff. It's fun, the variety they offer, and they're not expensive, and they're fun kind of beginner guns to play.
And what's really cool about especially the Barkeep, well, you go on the Heritage website, they got all kinds of different grips you can change out on it.
A lot of Magnum cylinder off there that's got the playing card engravings on it.
Yeah, you can make whatever you want to out of it.
I want to get the Betsy Ross grips.
We're talking Taurus. I was going to go grab my Magnum cylinder. I'm like, no, we need to get focused on the Taurus.
Heritage Arms is technically Taurus.
Technically,
but they're in the USA though, right? But are they a subsidiary of?
They were in 2012. They were bought.
But they're still made in the USA, though.
Yeah, but they're still they're owned by Taurus.
Yeah.
There's Tauruses that are made in the US now. So I mean,
so Scott's EDC and such. He says my Rossi RS-22 is one of my favorite pews. Thinking of upgrading to the Pro Mag PM279 collapsing stock. That would be cool. I need to go check that out because I would like
to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Go spend the money on it and then tell me how it is. by mind tricks. By mind tricks.
No,
yeah.
you do that first, Travis, because you'll be able to get, recoup that loss faster than
I spent enough money this summer on firearms. I'm good to go. I'm trying to save up now so I can get another lever gun. If I ever see a unicorn, aka the Marlin 336, I'm gonna buy one. But
I'm still looking for a unicorn lever gun. It's not working out.
Now, the last thing I want to mention real quick is I did have a chance, non-Taurus talk. I've got I did check out the Rossi R92 at Shields today, the 3030. It's nice, but for $830, I'd rather spend $100 more and just get a Henry, or spend $830 and get a 336. The Rossi's okay, the R92, not quite as fancy even as a 336, especially like the engraving or the lack thereof. It's fine for what it is. I did like the R95, which was the 357 mag lever gun. They did have one of those in stock for $699. And that almost feels like a 2/3 scale 30-30. It's really weird short, but man, that would just make a fun, handy little, almost like an ATV gun, or even just like a truck gun, or just a little, defender home. I think it's 8 rounds on that one. And that was a neat little gun. I almost got it because I'd like to pair it up with a Rossi revolver, because they've got a new line of 357s that they just renovated and came back out with again. So the R92 and the R95s are nice. I'd pass on an R92 30-30 though, and just go Henry, or just go Marlin, just either, or get a used Marlin JM, for that kind of money. I was hoping it would have been more like $699 or $799, but I think the MSRP on it was like $849 or $900 or something like that. So let's go ahead and switch. Oh, go ahead. Nice strike. Yeah.
Travis, I did go to the PSA gathering this year. I did talk to the people at Taurus.
Yeah.
They had a full line. They had a Taurus booth, the Rossi booth, and a Heritage booth. And I played with all the toys that they had there.
Nice.
I know they're not toys, but I'm calling them toys.
Yeah.
Okay. And the one that came out, the one they had the ridiculous Raging Hunter.
Oh yeah, it's got the giant muzzle brake on the end of it.
The muzzle brake on it, and it's got
huge. We'll take a look at those today too. We'll definitely make a scan
through
one
of those.
I shot it. My brother was with me. He shot it. He turned around and looked at me. He's like, "You got to get one of these." And I go, "Well, we'll see," because the Taurus guy's like, "Yeah, you got to get one." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." But I'll tell you this right now. It was really nice to shoot. It really. You'd think there would be muzzle flip, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
What really sucked when we were at the Great American Outdoor Show, Chris from 740 may remember this piece out there. Taurus was selling every firearm they had in the booth there. 23% off on everything in their booth.
That must have been rough not to jump at that.
Why 23%?
Yeah, not having the money. They're 23% off everything they had in the booth.
That's cool. That's actually really cool, man. That's skip the middleman, just go right to the company. So yeah. All right, let's go and get a few more out there. So Hillbilly Up, what is your experience with Taurus firearms? What the good, the bad, and the ugly? What have you dealt with?
Yeah, man, I like them. I have Judge, and then excuse me, I have the 38 revolver.
Okay.
The ultralight, or is that right?
And they've got so many models. We'll have to scan the revolvers in it. I know they have the poly protector, which is the 357 38 special you can get. That's polymer and metal, but yeah.
The 38. My wife, we actually got her M&P Easy Shield and to carry, and she just shoots that Taurus 38 revolver like a champ, and she loves it, and that's what she chose to carry. So I mean, that's what she likes, and is great with it. I did look. I almost bought the Taurus. I believe it was the 692 revolver long barrel. It's 38 special 357, and they had the other cylinder for 9mm with the moon clips.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it's kind of off and on the reviews I watched, so I've not pulled that trigger yet. And I also like the Raging Hunter too. I don't have any automatics from Taurus.
Okay.
That's something that I would probably like to get, G2, G3, maybe they're 1911 style, I mean, I have nothing against the guns. I've liked them real well so far, everything I've had in them. And to me, it's just, it's like, High Point in a way. I mean, they're affordable guns and they run. And when you have that, man, it's just hard to go wrong because people don't got to remember, a lot of people that buy stuff, they're not like a lot of people in our community go out there, gun ranges, a lot, putting a lot of rounds through this. They want something that's going to run and, and do good that they can count on. And so, I mean, I think Taurus is a pretty good, option for that.
Yeah. Well, and again, just looking at how popular the G series has been for them, and the fact they're still coming out with new variants of it and more models, and they're working up the price point, and somebody mentioned that the G3 Tactical, that's gone down in price a lot too. That was pretty expensive when it first came out. I don't know what they are now, but I think they were pushing maybe 400 or something like that. And then you had your dagger come out, your full size dagger, which you can get that threaded barrel, optics cut, night sights, whatever you want for like $349, $399.
Yeah.
So I do like that tactical though, because I believe it does not have a safety on it, if I'm not mistaken. So that's one of the rare Taurus G3 series you can get without a safety. Yeah.
I would like to also say something about the optics.
Yes.
It's like the dang plugins for cell phones and everything else. Keep all that the same. I mean, come on.
You mean like the cuts on the top of the slides?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did a whole episode on like the 5 or 6 different standards of cuts that are out there. Then you end up having to use plates and adapters to make it all work and hope that everything stays on. It would be nice if there was just one standard. I mean, you can pretty much go with an RMR cut or hollow sun cut, and you'd be pretty happy, I think, with the variety that's available for that. But it also depends on the size of the gun, because if it's a micro subcompact, it's going to be a much smaller cut than say, not that you couldn't get an adapter that's going to work with it, but Gotcha. All right. And then Taurus Talker, single shot. Are you with us, dude? You out there? See if we can get it back on. Single shot, if you're there, what's your experience with Taurus Firearms? We had a little chat about that before we got started. Might not have the best signal. I noticed that we can't see his icon right now because he might be suffering from a rough cell phone signal. So, and then I'd mentioned myself, I've owned a PT 111 G2. I had 2 black ones and then an FDE. I've currently got a G3C. I had a G2C for a very short period of time. Let's see, did have a Rossi Circuit Judge, which is different. My dad had a Taurus Judge for a while that he really enjoyed. He sold that. I currently just have an OD Green G3, like a Gen 1, which still has the original adjustable sights on the back, which is fine, but I'm going to probably convert that to a Toro. And now those Toro conversion kits have been back in stock, and you can go over to Shop Taurus and buy directly from them. They've been in stock for a while now because they kind of disappeared for a bit there. But now you can actually get them in some hop-up parts. I do notice that they sell the Lakeline upgraded stainless steel guide rod and spring on the Taurus website itself. So that must mean it must be approved, because at one point we didn't know if that would modify the warranty or not, because the Taurus guns have a lifetime warranty on them for, I think, regardless of owner, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't have to be the first owner. Single shot, what's your experience with the Taurus Firearms?
Hey, you got me this time?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
All right. Yeah, I've got 2 of them right now, and I've had good luck with them so far. I got the PT 101 in 40 cal, and I've also got the ultralight in 44 Magnum. That thing can be a handful. I can tell you that. That thing is so light that all that recoil is right there. So I think I'm going to be pretty much dedicating that thing for my 44 special gun. But I've had good luck with them. They're both very accurate. I got a short Picatinny rail underneath the 40, and I got a small laser sight that I've got mounted up underneath there. I've got to do some work with that. Cool. So far, so good, and I put a lot of rounds through that 40. Put a lot of rounds through that thing.
A lot of people don't realize that the PT 100 and the PT 101, if you've ever seen the PT 92, that's Taurus's version of the Beretta 92. The PT 100 and the PT 101 were 2 different variants of the 40 cal version of the Beretta 92, and they came in black or also stainless. Really nice looking guns, and they came with or without a rail, depending on when you bought one. And they're pushing $600-700 used over on Gunbroker because they're so rare. I think there's maybe one PT 100 for sale, maybe one PT 101 for sale. Yeah, I'd love to get one just to have one in the collection. I don't know how readily available parts are for it if you really want to shoot it a lot, like say a replacement barrel or even springs for it, because not everything inside those PT series guns are Beretta compatible. There's a lot of stuff that's not.
Right.
Cosmetically, they look the same. Mechanically, not so much. But yeah, very nice looking guns, man. Those are really cool, and I kind of wish they would still make them. So, yep.
No, like I say, they've been good shooters for me. I haven't put a lot through that ultralight 44 yet.
Yeah.
I put a video on YouTube on my channel there with that beast, and
fun to shoot, isn't it? Ultralight and 44 mag are two great things that go together, aren't they? No.
Yeah, if you like big bore high power, I guarantee you that's definitely in that class. But good accuracy out of it, though. I was pleasantly surprised about that. 4-inch barrel on that thing, and she's still popping them in the black at 25 yards. So
that's nice.
I can't complain about that too awfully much.
Heck yeah, dude.
So far, that 40 has taken just about everything that I've fed through it, even my 180 grain cast truncated cone style bullets. I've got a lot of that stuff loaded up right now.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to work real well so far, so I'm gonna keep right on hanging on to her.
Yeah. Good deal, man. So, Rich, you were saying Rossi is Taurus's long gun division at this point. Rossi does have 3 new revolvers that they just recently announced that are just starting to come back out again, like a compact model and 2 different larger ones, more of like a hunting, like a 6-inch barrel and then a 4-inch barrel.
Right. But for long guns, if you want something Taurus long gun, at least in the United States, you
got
to get the Rossi.
They did have an AR they tried selling for a while, but it was like, I don't remember, it was $1,000 or something, and it offered no advantage over. There were some for sale that I did see over on Gunbroker for a while. It might almost be a collectible because they have basically disappeared. I mean, they offer their full auto M4 for law enforcement in their foreign markets on their website. But yeah, to get a Taurus made, AR-15 basically, and they were like $900, and there was nothing about the specs that put it above Bear Creek or PSA. I hate to say it, but yeah. All right, so why don't we just kind of take a look at the real quick, just to address Scott's comment here. I'm on the 260s of Caliber Corner episodes, almost caught up. You're getting there, man. You've only got 32 more episodes to go, so Scott's been watching all the Caliber Corners over again since episode 1, so he's really definitely binge watching and keeping up with us season 6 at this point.
He's even watched the Lost episode that's over on my channel.
That's right. We had the Lost episode where my internet went down and Rich White stepped up and carried the torch for us. So now, just so you know, Scott, just to save you, they're not all under live podcasts. There's been a couple that were pre-recorded by me. I think within like this summer, I did 1 or 2 that were pre-recorded. So you might have to go back into the P11 feed or type in Caliber Corner EP and then the number you're missing and it'll pop up. Because, 2 of them were done as pre-recorded StreamYards because for Thunder on the Prairie. And I think the week before I was prepping for Thunder on the Prairie. So there were 2 in a row maybe that were pre-recorded. But thanks for watching that. I do appreciate it, dude. All right. So we are taking a look at the Taurus catalog. Okay, what we have for the semi-autos. So, Gary, your Taurus 1911, has that been pretty reliable for you? Have you had any issues with it at all?
I've never had any issues with it, no, other than I can echo what others have said about the trigger pull being a little harder than I would like it to be.
Okay.
But never had any cycle issues or anything like that with it.
Okay. Yeah, and this is under concealed carry pistols. So these are going to be maybe some of their smaller pistols. They might have so this is the commander size and the officer size. I think they do a full 5-inch barrel version of it too. And I don't know if that's under concealed carry.
Yeah, mine's
or not,
full size.
Full size, yeah. And the one that I shot was fine. I did have some issues with maybe the Chip McCormick mags that I used with it were kind of finicky with it, but the Taurus mags were fine. And 1911s can be mag finicky for whatever reason, I've got a Ruger SR 1911 and I've only bought Ruger mags for it and they work fine. But I know with the Tauruses, they can sometimes be a little bit mag finicky. But yeah, they've done different colors and styles and the price points have been pretty good. Although, you can get some fairly inexpensive 1911s at this point if you really look around. So
Travis, don't blaspheme John Moses Browning, okay?
What's that?
Don't blaspheme the word of John Moses Browning.
Okay, man, I'll keep that in mind. Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. And so under the G3 series, we've got the Tennifer Matte Black. They've got a couple different the G3 full size models. Well, they call them full size. They're kind of between a G19 and a G17 size. You might want to hold one in the store because there's no adjustable back straps on these, so there's a chance you might not like them. But I've always enjoyed the grip texture on them and the grips in general. They're kind of a nice beginner gun. there's one inherent issue with these, and maybe you guys have noticed this. Low and to the left is pretty much predominant with those G series triggers. And a lot of it has to do with kind of the physiology of your finger. They break so far back, practically touching the frame at that point, that your hand just kind of naturally curls. And so I've noticed if you're left-handed, they tend to shoot low into the right. If you're right-handed, they tend to shoot low to left. You can kind of compensate for that and be very careful with it. But it seems like no matter how much I isolate my trigger finger, I've always had an issue with low left with the G3 and the G3Cs.
Yeah, you got to modify that grip quite a bit and put quite a bit of pressure on your offhand to compensate.
Yeah, I press a little bit more with my left thumb in order to kind of, so it doesn't, because it'll naturally start to curl. And you already have a bit of a curl anyway, even if you squeeze the grip tight and try to isolate your trigger finger. The reset is so far back.
Yeah, the trigger feels a bit awkward with the reset being so far back.
The G3, G3C triggers were improvements over the G2C and G2S, in my opinion. They were a lot wider and a little bit more crisp. Almost felt very Glock-like. And so that's just not saying that that's awesome or anything, but that's just kind of the characteristics of them. And as you guys can see, a variety of different colors and flavors, all in 9mm. They've offered some variants in 40 cal before too. Foreign markets, not the G3 series, but other series, they've offered 380s that we haven't gotten here. So here's your tactical. Let's see, 17 rounds, co-witness sights, threaded barrel. So MSRP on this one's $589, but I was thinking that we were talking like $399 maybe or something like that, where you can find them. Chris from the 740, I believe you have one of these. And that's their tactical model, which is a non-mechanical safety, which I wish they would just do on the G3. So this is kind of taking a lot of those modifications guys have been doing to their G3s, and they're making it in an all-in-one package that's ready to go. Co-witness sights, optics cut. And so that definitely shows you. If you go over to Chris's channel, you can check out all the videos that he's done on it. He's even done a cleaning video on it too, if I'm not mistaken. And you kind of get a good idea as to what it takes to run one. It's got the Toro optic system in it, or optics cut on it. You can see it with an optic right there. And joining us, we've got Squibload. Squibby, what is going on, dude? How you doing?
Hi.
Welcome to the show, man. We're going to just throw you right in. Tell us your experience with Taurus Firearms, because this summer you finally had an opportunity to break one in, right? He's looking.
Yeah, it's right here.
All right, so that's your 40 G2C, is that right?
Yeah.
40 cal. So how'd that run for you? I mean, you put videos out on it and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. How was it?
Oh, I shot videos, but I don't think I published anything yet.
Okay, but I remember it shooting well when we were at the range. You know, it was a pretty decent pistol in general.
I tried some ammo in it and a couple different kinds, and it worked. I'd like to try some more in it, maybe make up some reloads, see how well they do. I was carrying it while I was walking the dog, so.
Yeah, there you go, man. We're just looking at the G3 Tactical right now. Oh no, this website went out. No. What's I broke? Did I break Taurus's website like I broke their website. Like I broke Defense Dad's gun? Yeah.
And VidMe. You remember?
You broke I broke VidMe. After I uploaded I spent months uploading my entire catalog to VidMe manually, and then they disappeared, right? They went down.
Broke the whole website.
I haven't broken Odyssey yet, and all my stuff automatically gets pushed over to Odyssey, so that's always a good thing too. So
I really would like to get one of those G3 Tacticals and put it up against my P10C suppressor rating and see which one's the more accurate.
Ooh, there you go.
That's a good video.
Heck yeah, man. That'd be a nice one. So yeah, you can see the different models that they have. And like I said, I in the G3 series, I don't believe that they did offer a G3C as a 40 Smith. Okay. Honestly, I've never seen one in the store before. I thought that was just the G2 series that they did as G2Cs and G2Ss that they did in a 40, but you can also get the G3C. So Squib, you got a G2 40, right? You don't have a G3?
No. I've got a G2 and 40. One of my sons has got a G2 and 40. Another one's got a G2 and 9. Okay. And then the wife has the G2S.
Okay. Gotcha. Then we get into the G30, the G3X, which is basically the G3 full-size frame with the G3C slide on the top of it. And that's one I really haven't, we haven't really heard much about those in a long time. Since they first came out, it was kind of a big deal. A lot of YouTube channels were featuring that one. I'm surprised. I don't even know if I've really even seen them in the stores. But if you want a little bit more of an increased capacity and more purchase on the gun, that's definitely an option that you can get. Not going to necessarily help concealment because you've got a longer pistol grip going on, but still it's cool that they offer that as an option. But like I said, they kind of Apple Computer Us, where they just offer incremental upgrades over time. And so you kind of feel compelled to either sell or trade or hold on to and just buy the next one up. Then we get into kind of their P365 idea with the GX4s. And you've got non-optics cut, optics cut, GX4 XL. If you want a little bit larger grip on it. And so they have all these different models. That's what, 11 and 13 rounds on the XL. And then they've got the Toro series that you can get to. So, I mean, they pretty much offer something for everybody. And, you know, if you can't get it in your store, you can readily find these online. You can usually get some really good deals on them. So, Squibby, we recommend everybody goes through Family Firearms. Is that right?
Yeah. They did right by me. So I bought more from them. So, I mean, as long as your transfer fee isn't crazy, you know, we had a lot of FFLs in the area that had $75 transfer fees.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Eventually a new store opened up and he went with $25, and he's making a lot of new customers all the time. So I would say as long as the transfer fee in your area isn't crazy, then yeah, I would definitely go with them.
Yeah. And also Family Firearms doesn't charge sales tax unless you're in their home state. Pro tip, a lot of people don't realize that. That's why I don't know how they get away with it, but they don't. I know in Nebraska, you're supposed to claim sales tax on your income taxes for any internet purchases that you don't pay sales tax on, which in Nebraska, almost everything gets charged sales tax on it. That's something they started up like 3 or 4 years ago for us.
I've gotten AK Mags from them before.
Yeah. Anything you buy from them, they don't charge sales tax unless it's their home state, which is like Tennessee or Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah,
so
it's the same thing here in West Virginia. You're supposed to pay sales tax on everything you buy online. But we have a loophole when it comes to firearms and ammo. They did away with the sales tax on firearms and ammo in the state of West Virginia. So we don't pay sales tax on anything but locally or online if it's a firearm or ammunition.
Isn't it something that states have reciprocity? If you get a speeding ticket in another state, it gets reported to your state, hence it gets reported to your car insurance. Or they've got reciprocity with another state when it comes to something like sales tax. But when it comes to carrying firearms or buying a car out of state and already paying the registration fee, they don't seem to have reciprocity there.
It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? Yeah.
Marriage license, driver's license, all count everywhere, every state. But amazingly, the one that's actually for a right doesn't.
Armsman says, I've seen the G3, the tactical G3 for $375, which that's not bad at all. Like I said, it's hard for me to want to take that, say, over the dagger full size with an optics cut on it, but the G3 tactical, I believe it has a longer barrel than the G3, than the dagger full size PSA dagger, but still, since we're talking Taurus, but that's still a great price considering they were $450, $500, you know, when they first came out, those G3 tacticals. But just like anything, the prices on them do eventually drop down a little bit. Then we get into the Taurus TH series, which is a newer kind of take on a previous series that they sold. And I can't remember if it was an 800 or an 802 or something like that. But your TH stands for Taurus Hammer Fired, OD Green, FDE, Sniper Gray, you know, whatever they have, the greens and stuff going on. And so they offer those in 9, either did or do offer them in 40. And they also have the THC, which is the compact. I always thought those were kind of cool looking guns too. Those are neat, but they're almost as big and bulky as, you know, much larger guns that have more capacity, but you can get those with extended mags that'll take 17 rounds on them, the THCs. I think Roll Call has or had a Taurus TH, if I'm not mistaken. I remember watching it on his video before. Either he has one or had one or borrowed one and took it to the range and stuff. It was a good video because there wasn't a lot of videos on the TH guns at the time. And then they got the TH45, which I'm starting to see some of the videos now starting to pop up on that. And I'm really kind of curious to see what the street price is on those, because that's MSRP of $529. And if I get a 45 ACP, $529 will buy me a decent entry-level 1911. You know, I could get a Rock Island for that kind of price. I mean, there's other companies out there. So I mean, it's and this is not a bad looking gun. It's just another continuation of the series. I'd probably consider buying this in 10 millimeter since I'm now invested in 10 millimeter after buying the High Point JXP 10. So if I can get another 10 millimeter for say $399 or $450, I'd consider getting a TH10 when that comes out.
I thought it was out.
What's that? Is the TH10 already out?
I thought it was. Is it not?
45 is, I'm not seeing the 10 on the website, but Taurus also has a habit of getting the guns out before the website even gets updated. We've seen that a million times too. So,
okay. Sportsman's Warehouse has them on their site, but it may be a pre-sale type thing too.
Are they listing any prices at all? I'm not monetized, so we can talk prices if you want to. I'm not monetized on this particular, these caliber.
It says $439.
Okay. That's not, and see, for me, for us, I don't know about you, Gary, but Sportsman's Warehouse is local. I can go out to Grand Island, Nebraska, and go pick it up without a transfer fee and free shipping. So that's, so $439 is not bad. I mean, that's about the price of, I don't know if you could get yourself a Glock G20 for that price, like maybe a Gen 3, maybe for $450 if you get a used one. Yeah. They tend to run more like around 500 or so. And then we get into the TX22s, which I love. Now, Gary, you had some problems with your TX22 initially. You want to kind of let people in on that in case they'd have problems with theirs too. What did you discover about the TX22?
What I discovered about it was you have to be particularly careful in how you load the magazines on those, because the follower spring on the magazine has it has a handle on each side. You can relax the tension on there. But if you relax the tension too much, it allows those rounds to kind of get jumbled up. You want to keep a little bit of that spring tension on there as you load the mags. And
they kind of get staggered crisscross the way that it's a weird, almost like semi-box style crisscross magazine. I mean, I wish they would have done it better, but you are getting 15+1.
And once I learned how to load them correctly, I have had zero issues. It feeds all the time now.
Yeah, mine's rock solid, dude. I put hundreds of rounds through mine. In fact, I've got a couple beginners I've taken out to the range this summer. We start off with the TX22 because it's so easy to work with. You get almost that heft of a full-size gun with a mechanical safety. Decent trigger, not the best, but decent,
And then you can put that competition conversion kit like I did on mine and really have some fun.
And that magazine issue that Gary was talking about, you see that a lot in rimfire double stacked magazines because of the way that it's not even necessarily with rimfire and rimmed cartridge period. That's why you don't see a whole lot of centerfire rim cartridges like 357 Magnum and 44 Magnum and semi-automatics, because they'll do the same thing because the rim on the cartridge causes it to screw up and be out of alignment.
I've always run CCI mini mags through mine if you want to get a good ammo for the TX22, and I've never had problems with it. But Gary, you've run a bunch of different types of ammo through. Did you notice one ammo running better than others at all, or not?
In my TX22?
TX22, yeah. Does it run about everything for you that you feed it?
Pretty much. I mean, it's just about like any 22. If you stick with CCIs, you're probably going to have the best luck. But I shoot the Remington Golden Bullets in there and stuff like that. The Federal Auto Match, you know how that is. It's kind of, hate to say hit or miss because somebody's going to want to say Tuesday nights at 9.
But, absolutely, A Federal Auto Match has always kind of been my go-to on semi-autos, but then I've since, for videos and stuff, I just generally, whether it's CCI Stingers or CCI Mini Mags, those have always been a fairly hotly loaded round that just seems to cycle everything well, and it's expensive. You get what, $10 for 100 of them or something like that? Is that what they are? 50 or 100 for 10? Maybe 200 or something. I mean, but for the money, I mean, if you're going to take the time and go out, just get a good ammo,
But when I was at Thunder on the Prairie, we were shooting Aguila there. I didn't have any issues with it. So
yeah. And one thing about the TX22, they don't make a Toro version of the TX22, do they? That's not the competition model?
No.
I don't think so. See, I'm under the concealed area right now, so I'm not seeing the competition model. I'm seeing the compact with the optics cut on it, but the competition model's got the threaded barrel, but the TX22 also has a threaded extension that you can put on the barrel too if you want to.
Right, but you get a different slide because the way the optic is mounted, it's actually mounted forward and it's mounted onto the barrel itself and not onto the slide. So the slide cycles independently of the optic, so your optic stays solid the entire time. It's quite a nice shooting experience.
Oh yeah. Here it is. Here we're looking at it right now. You can get it with the compensator on the front if you want it without a compensator. The optic, like Gary mentioned, the optic's mounted directly to the barrel, so it's not subject to the cycling movement. I mean, not as much as one that's mounted on the slide itself. They do make it in purple wine. So, I mean, they just make random colors sometimes. It just kind of, Taurus just does that, Some of these are also exclusives that are sold through certain, like Lipsies and I can't remember who does the Gun Genie. I always forget that.
Davidson's.
Davidson's does exclusives or tallow exclusive colors and stuff like that. FDE, and I mean those are nice, and they've gone down in price too. I want to say maybe you can get one for $299 at this point. For a while there, I think they were around $349, but they were also a nice option to get a 15 round capacity in a 22 that has the heft and feel, of a full size pistol, which is really nice because it's a nice trainer to use for larger guns without spending the money on the 9mm ammo. But overall,
if you really want to soup one up, you can go to Tandem Cross, and they'll really.
Now, again, I think we'll talk Taurus maybe next week or something. We'll talk Taurus modifications, or in 2 weeks when we get Chris on the show, because I think he have a TX22 that's all hopped up.
Yeah.
He's the testing mule for the Taurus hop up parts. We let Chris do all the dirty work, and we just watch the videos and pick up stuff. So I mean, Taurus has really moved ahead. I think in the quality. I mean, they still have some lemons from time to time, and their guns aren't always perfect. And whenever there's a new Taurus model, not the TH40, the TH45 or TH10, I'd be happy buying one of those because they've got a strong lineage. But like a GX4, which is a brand new design, or the Spectrum, which was a brand new design, it's like a new car that just gets introduced. You kind of want to let them work the kinks out, maybe that first year or two. Squid, back in the day, have you ever had any older Taurus guns that gave you any issues? Did you ever have a 1911 or a revolver or anything like that?
I rented a Raging Bull in 454.
Okay.
Didn't have any problems with that.
Okay.
I fired. I'm trying to think if I fired anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as Taurus revolvers, no. I think it's just the Raging Bull's the only one I shot, and I didn't have any issues. That was one of the older ones. Not long after it came out, they had one as a rental, and I was at the range and somebody rented it. And I don't know if you remember that scene in RoboCop where all the cops stop shooting and go over to see what that was.
He's doing a shot burst, and they're all looking down they're looking ahead of the firing line to look down at him. That was smart.
Yeah.
Good gun safety, guys.
That literally happened at the gun range. It sounded like thunder. It did. And you slowly hear less and less people shooting and more people looking behind, like, what is that? And we all walk down to the end, and there's a crowd of us standing around this guy with this Raging Bull and 454 Casull. Yeah. So I came back later and rented it, and I was pretty impressed with it. So
that's awesome. Is that what Jimmy has? Does he have what does Jimmy have?
He had one. I think he sold it.
He's like one of the original dudes that I knew that had a 454 Casull. He used to always talk about that as kind of a good caliber to start with,
That thing is a beast.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends on the gun. Like I shot a Ruger Alaskan, and it was no more unpleasant than a 44 mag, and because the gun weighs 5 pounds,
man.
You can put 45 Colt in a 454 Casull.
Yeah.
So yeah. Or you could just get a 460, and then you could shoot all three.
Yep.
So
done that.
460, go big or go home.
Absolutely, man. That's where it starts for some people. So
yeah. Aren't some of the 460s cut for moon clips too, so that you can use 45 ACP with them?
No. I would be surprised.
I don't know, but that would be another add to the cool factor.
Brilliant idea right there. Come on, Taurus, make another one. Go add it to the Taurus store. Go buy your parts. Oh man,
wouldn't be able to do it with the headspace off the length of the case. No, and it's rimless.
Well, that's why you use the moon clip. The moon clip holds it in the cylinder.
Yeah.
Be sweet. Be a little bit cheaper. Here's your Taurus 92, guys. This is basically their clone-ish gun based off the PT 92 that was, well, it was the whole
Beretta 92.
Idea. It was Taurus bought the Beretta machinery and the plans, and they modified it themselves or sort of domestically produced. Well, they started producing their own version of what Beretta was already making when Beretta left Brazil. Is that right? Is that kind of, there's a whole story behind,
they bought the plant and the tooling, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep. The nice thing about this is you got a frame mounted safety, which a lot of people like. I believe it doubles as a decocker.
Which was from the original Beretta 92.
Okay.
Because the original Beretta 92 had a frame mounted safety, and then they switched to where it was on the slide instead.
Yeah. They used to offer this one in stainless, and I don't think they offered anymore, but you can still find them out there used. I'm seeing these Taurus 92s now popping up for $375, and there was a time where they were getting up there almost the prices of an entry-level Beretta 92. Like those were like 500, and these Taurus PT92s were pushing like 450, especially like during pandemic time and stuff like that, where people were buying whatever they could get.
I think the one I bought last year was only $400. It was right around that.
Because you have a PT92, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Not a bad gun. The trigger's got a little bit more of a hook in it than I like, but they're still good guns. Magazines are proprietary, right? You can't use PT92.
I've tried interchanging them, and they don't. No, I've got comments.
I think. Yeah,
I got comments on the video. You can do this to and do that. That's not the point of the video. Where in the video did I say, well, let's try to modify them? No, I took them right out of the package and put them in the gun. I did one with the Beretta with the Taurus mag, and then 3 or 4 years later, I bought the Taurus and put Beretta mags in it, and it doesn't work. If you want to modify them, be my guest. I'm not.
Yeah, and you're better off just buying the Taurus mags at the gun store, or because they're readily available. I mean, you can get, or you can order them online. It's not like some of the older Taurus semi-autos where you can't find a mag now if your life depended on it. Like the PT809, which was replaced by the TH series. I think like guys sent me on a quest. I found one used magazine at Wanamaker for a PT809. I think I was looking for AWAG, and I think it was like $65 for the mag, and it was used. So I found one. Does anybody have a PT809? I think it was a PT809. I don't remember who I was looking for. They said, give me one of those mags. I'm like, do you want it? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, all right. So the 92s or PT92s are nice. They did make a version at one point that had like a Cerakote gray slide with Hogue grips on it. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I'd probably go Hearson or Gearson. I'd get an EA, Regard, or whatever at this point, because a lot of those do have 92 compatible mags, and their price-wise are pretty competitive. And with those Regards, you can also get them with optics cuts on them, where Taurus doesn't offer that on the 92. So, I would probably go that way. And since I've had a 92 before, good guns, good entry-level basic guns. It's funny, there's a lot of guys that hate Taurus firearms, but they have nothing against the PT92 just because of its lineage. The fact it's been around for 25 years at this point, maybe 30, I don't even know. In the US market at least.
Let's see. I think I started seeing them around 88 or 89.
Yeah.
Sounds all right.
Yep. They've been around for quite a while. So I mean, a lot of guys, they respect it because like a lot of guys wouldn't be caught dead with the Taurus, but but they will have no trouble picking up, a PT92 or if somebody has one.
When I was younger, I wanted one because it was less money, and when I was younger, I had less money. And then when I got issued a Beretta in the military, I said, I think I want one of these at some point in my life. And my first handgun was an M9. And I didn't want one of those cheap Taurus knockoffs. And then later I said, you know what? I want one just to have one, because I can, and if I scratch that one up or something like that, I'm not really too worried about it. Not that I don't have scratches on the M9, I do. But yeah, for me, it functions for the most part just the same. If anything, I like the sights a little bit more, but otherwise it's pretty much the same.
Okay. Yeah, and it was Matt from Never Enough Ammo that sold me on the PT92, just because at the time they were like 3 1/4, where Berettas were pushing 500, and Matt had shot the heck out of his. I thought, I'm going to go pick one up because Stan had one down at SS Pawn, and I went and bought one, and it was awesome. I kept it for about 4 or 5 years, and then I sold it and bought something else with it, maybe bought a G17 with it or traded for a G17. I can't remember what I did, and it was a good gun, but the trigger, again, the hook on the trigger it would always pinch my finger, but this depends on how you hold the gun and your finger size. That might not affect a lot of people, but it did for me. But it was still a good gun nonetheless. Now we get into the revolvers. Go ahead.
They tried to get me to change over to that 92 when I was in. And he looked at me, you're going to have to turn in you to 1911. I said, no, I ain't.
Yeah. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I remember when we went down to the armory that morning, and we were checking out the M9s, and I looked in the back, and there were a bunch of 1911s up on the shelf with their slides locked to the rear, and I'm like, hey, I didn't know we still had those. They go, oh, yeah, the MPs carry those. And I'm like, well, I want one of those. And they're like, no, you get this. And I'm like, oh.
Well, the thing is, Squib, I was in the supply room and the armor of the unit, so no, you ain't.
Real quick, speaking of the 45 ACP, while you guys were talking about that, I looked it up, and there are companies that will cut your 45 Colt, 454 Casull, or 460 revolver to take moon clips, and then they can safely fire 45 ACP.
Okay.
How the hell are they doing that? I wonder.
Brazilian magic.
I guess so.
Oh,
I don't think I'd try it.
Yeah. Outcast is calling out Squib. We got to get a feud going here. When Squib's gun gets dirty, he calls it junk and puts something else on the credit card. So,
I mean, that's easier than cleaning it. You've seen me at Thunder on the Prairie. I don't even have time to clean my guns.
No, you should just let me do that for you. In fact, if you were in Michigan, I would just make a whole second, third channel just gun cleaning alone. So,
I had some oil company send me an email saying, we want you to try out our product and do a video on it. I'm like, man, then I got to clean my guns. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for, I'm all for cleaning your guns. I'm not that guy who says I'm going to leave my gun dirty forever. The reason the gun is dirty is because I just don't make time to do it. But I used to clean them after every range trip religiously.
Remember, just send those guys my way anytime there's cleaning companies. So Gary, I'll be talking to you about some Aegis stuff here after we get done too. So there we go. Revolvers, baby. Revolver. Here's the thing with the Taurus revolvers. I mean, a lot of it, man, they've got so many of them. You can't even you can just go on for days looking at all the different variants and types and colors and flavors and sizes. I mean, look at this. Yeah. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. But anyway, if you, depending on what caliber you want, what your budget is, they pretty much have something for everybody. Anybody out there watching this, if you guys have some models you recommend we stay away from, maybe throw those numbers out there. But I personally would go with the new Rossi revolvers that came out. They seem to be really solid. I like those. And I know they're a little bit different than the Taurus. Those are all in 357 mag that Rossi's offering. And they're like $450 for like a 6-inch barrel model or even less for the 4-inch. So they're very,
I've shot them. They're nice. They feel perfect in the hand.
Yeah, they do seem to be very well built. And the Rossi that I shot, aside from it being 44 mag and it's pure punishment every time you pull the trigger, the gun itself is great.
I didn't have a problem with that one.
Nice trigger. What's that?
I didn't have a problem with that one.
Shooting a snub nose with 44 mag? Oh,
I
dude.
I didn't have a problem.
You must be into, and just go take your hand and slap it on a table as hard as you can, because that's the experience I get every time I do it. So,
no, 44
I've got little baby hands. I barely have calluses, from the weights that I lift.
Snub nose 44 doesn't kick that bad.
It's not the kick; it's the shock that goes through the grip that drives me nuts on the smaller pistol.
I thought the 357 Magnum snub nose had more snap to it than a 44.
See, I've never shot a snubby 357 mag. I've only shot like 4-inch models on a Ruger GP 100. It didn't bother me at all. That thing was great to shoot.
Yeah,
some Smith and Wesson.
You got the weight.
The weight definitely mitigates a lot of it. Having a couple extra and some more barrel length to get more of a powder burn and stuff too. So it's just
my 627 shooting full on 357s out of that's like shooting a 9mm.
So Tony says that's why they make 44 special. Yeah, I need 44 special. That's the official 44 caliber Travis P11 right there for men with tiny hands.
That's what I gotta do to my ultralight. Convert that thing over to my 44 special revolver.
Well, then
44 Magnum is
Travis. Then you'll have to change your name. From Travis P11 to Travis P44 special.
They're not tiny hands. They're sensitive. They're sensitive to 44 mag snub nose. They always have been. And yet my mom, that's like her bedside gun. I'm like, I don't get it. How did she'd laugh. She's like, it's not that bad. What do we got here? X Adam 1 says the only Taurus I'd consider getting would be the PT 1911. The other gun grips just don't feel great. Maybe the tactical 22 would be okay. I like the PT 1911. I tested one on the channel and it was fine, but I really my Ruger SR 1911 that they're getting expensive now. Pushing what $800, I suppose. But when I got mine for $679 or $650, just God, I love that. That's my favorite 1911. I won't buy another one, or if I do, I'm gonna go buy once, cry once, and get like a less bear on it. Just go full out and get a nice, basically
a lot of money.
Yeah. But the Taurus PT, the 1911s from Taurus are fine. Maybe stick with Taurus mags exclusively because they can be finicky with other brands for whatever reason. But yeah, definitely good guns too.
I'll tell you what, if I'm going to shuck out that kind of money for a semi-auto in the 45 caliber range, I'm going to find me an LAR Grizzly.
Yeah.
45 Winchester.
Winchester Magnum. Yeah. I have fired one of those.
I have too, and they are nice.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. We got your 44 mags going on over here. I was gonna look for that the hunting. Here we go. Now we get into the Raging Hunters.
You ought to look in the Hunter
There we go,
series.
Guys. Yeah, Raging Hunter 500s. Here we go. Now we're talking.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the 460 with that tank.
Here you
brake
go.
on the
Well,
front of it.
Rich, we got one for you. So
Yeah,
you get to pick your choice of flavor and color. And,
That one with the brake is ridiculous. Just
I heard it actually
Eat
mitigates
your
it.
Wheaties.
it
There was
does.
I think they
does.
tested it like last month in American Rifleman magazine, and they tested it. Would you guys quit doing the stupid animations? All right. And they had a bipod on it and shot it, and they said it really was not that unpleasant. They said no worse than like a 44 mag because of the weight and the brake. The brake didn't come loose on it. It seriously looks like something from a video game. It looks like something from a sci-fi movie. Yeah.
No, it looks like something from Call of Duty.
Put a Trigicon on that.
Chris from the 740 a few times now, I believe. He said he got to shoot that at range day out at shot, and he said it was like shooting a 357 Magnum with that brake on it.
You know, I wish the ATF would just make an exemption for this gun and let you put a vertical foregrip on it just for the safe operation of it. You know,
Well, you can put an angled foregrip on it.
Yeah, I can put AFG on there. If you could you SBR that? Is that possible?
No, Travis, you don't want to put your hand in front of the cylinder.
I forgot about that. Yes. Yeah, you forgot. That'll take your fingers
in
off.
that case, it'll be your forearm, so you'd be pretty much blowing off your whole hand.
Slice off a finger and a half a second.
We need to make an AFG with a blast shield behind it that you can just rest over your hand and blocks it, There you go.
Make it like in a
You'll find me in the basement of SHOT Show peddling that merch. So
how we were talking about Rossi revolver rifles that they've got?
Yeah.
By the way, some of those actually have cylinder blast shields.
Yeah, the Rossi. I had a circuit judge. It has a blast shield on it because it does have the front forearm on it that you can grip. Yeah, it does have like a little shield that comes off the front. You still kind of feel a little something, but not much. I didn't shoot that a whole lot because 45 Colt, super expensive round. It's like $40-$50 a box for 20. I'd only tested it a couple times, and I did run some 410 shot shells through it just for the heck of it too. And it was a fun gun. It was my ex-wife's, and she ended up selling it before we got divorced. But it was okay. A little hard to shoot accurately, but those have kind of become collector's items too. Those are pretty expensive. The Rossi circuit judges, I think they're around $700 now. Neat guns. Put a sling on them. They've got fiber optic sights on the top. We had Winchester PDX Defender loaded in case she ever wanted to use it. So yeah, very, very well made guns. Yeah.
Chris is out there in the chat. He said he was amazed how much that brake worked to tame that recoil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. After reading the tests on it and stuff like that, that'd probably be the way that I would go. So, and really, 1269. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, what would a 460?
But, I mean, okay, but for the size, the length of this thing, and just how cumbersome it is, they might as well just make a lever action rifle. I mean,
this is true. Yeah,
but
yeah.
It wouldn't have that cool factor, though, Squid.
Oh, please.
So what's just the 460 non muzzle brake version of this thing cost? What would we pay for just a Raging Hunter all black?
I don't know, but I would have loved
it. Right? So probably $999. How, guys? You tell me, how is that price wise for a 460? If you can get it for $999, is that a good price for a 460 revolver?
Compared to the Smith & Wesson, yes.
Yeah, compared to the Smith, hell yeah.
What's the Smith cost? $1,500, $1,600, or $2,000?
Yeah, and up.
Yeah,
and
up.
Okay.
Yeah, and up. Especially if
and
you're getting into the ported, which you're going to have the performance center for and everything.
And if you get a used Smith, they're just as much as a new Smith. They're just going for a lot.
Okay. Oh, hey, Bjorn is out there. He goes, "Hello, everyone. Bjorn, we haven't seen you for months, man. Where have you been? Where have you been hiding?
Bjorn.
Where's your girlfriend been hiding you? In the basement or what? Are you hanging out with Tardot or what?"
Keep in mind, too, with this, that 23% off at the Great American Outdoor Show and everything Taurus was selling included the 460.
But you had to pay for, did you have to pay for shipping and also FFL transfers?
No, they had free shipping, and you would just have to pay for the transfer to FFL.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez.
It was a hell of a deal they had. So I was like, I wish I would have had money.
Why was it 23% off? Was it like 23rd anniversary year?
Because of the year.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
It's just so odd to hear of a company just selling directly right there at the outdoor show.
You were buying direct from Taurus, and they had 23% off everything that they had in the booth. Everything was for sale.
Yeah, these Raging Hunters are pretty sweet, man. Got that full length Picatinny rail up on the top there.
I mean, you're talking about this full size gun. I mean, with a long barrel, it's going to have some weight that's going to mitigate the recoil. It's ported, that's going to mitigate the recoil.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to do as much as that
Well, okay, look at this, man. A ported 357 mag would not be that hard to shoot. I mean, let's be honest here. With that heavy barrel,
a non-ported 357 mag wouldn't be that hard.
No, a GP100 is totally comfortable to shoot all day. You know, even if you're just running full power 357 mag rounds. You know,
that size in the 357, you don't even need the porting. My 627 doesn't have porting. Like I said, that's like shooting a 9mm. You don't need the porting on it.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking as carrying it for a sidearm when you're deer hunting, even with the longer barrel, you could get a holster without a toe plug and you could carry that. But I'm not carrying that other revolver. That's just
you put a sling on the other one, Squib.
Yeah, at that point it's just an SBR anyhow.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. I've had one of them things with a bipod in my hands. You know, it's close to $2,000 for that 460, and that's just unreal. It's a lot of money.
The point of the 460 with that brake on it is if you want to go revolver hunting for an elephant.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
That would get the job done.
Sorry about that. Actually, I hit the back arrow when I was trying to navigate through the tabs here. So let's get you back to this this wonderful next purchase I'm contemplating here. So
you and me both.
There we go.
Now they make one of that series that I wouldn't mind trying. It's a Raging Hunter Hornet, 22 Hornet. That sounded pretty interesting when they came out with that one.
It's heavy. That?
Okay, I wonder what that's under on their series. Oh, 22 LR, 22 WMR. Yeah, doesn't I think Sandhills has one of those if I'm not mistaken. At least I thought he did. I thought he got one in 22.
Raging Hornet.
There you go. Here's the Tracker 992s in 22. This is all that they're showing right now for target shooting plinking revolvers, but you do get the crane, you get the cylinder and everything. Yeah.
I don't know if they still make the Raging Hornet or the Raging 30. They had a 30 carbine revolver. I don't think they make that anymore either.
Yeah, it's not popping up as a list of caliber options either. So then you got the executive grade, which is kind of funny because what was it? TGC News, they tested one and the screw actually came out on the side for the crane and it fell apart. But
I don't know if you want to shoot that one.
I watched that video and I was like, oh my God. They're like, this is the judge version of it, but their executive grade is kind of their step up. Gary, do you have one of these? Do you have an executive series or not?
No.
Going to check and see if they have them. They're kind of hard to get to because right now they're featuring the judge version of it, but they have one that's also in 357 Magnum, if I'm not mistaken.
I hate to give you my opinions on TGC and their gun reviews, but they're a little sketchy, let's just say.
I got to say that I like mine better. I'm not going to be humble here, so I like my range tests a lot better. So
the opinions of Gizzard Gary are also the opinions of everybody on this panel and everybody out there in the audience.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
and not just Gizzard Gary's alone.
Guns can have problems, right? Guns can break, guns can malfunction. I've had that happen to me before too. I mean, that's not unheard of, but you know, they were just disappointed that this, and then they lost the screw and they couldn't fix it. And they just sent it back in. Then they brought it back out for another test, and they still weren't 100% happy with it when they were done testing it. I'd like to try one. I think they look nice. I think it's cool. They're offering you a nice option with, you know, a couple $100 under the competition.
I'll wait for the Travis P11 tabletop review.
There you go. So there's your 38 special plus P 689 with a concealed hammer or whatever you want to call a snagless hammer on it. So yeah.
Bobbed hammer.
Is that what they call this one? Is bobbed hammer? Is that it?
Bobbed hammer.
I think it's concealed. I don't think it's bobbed. I don't see anything.
There is
there's a little nub.
Yeah, it does have a little tiny
one heck of a bob. You just put the grinder on it and just kept going.
It's funky looking, man. I'll tell you what. Yeah. Honestly, I'd probably go for just have a traditional hammer.
Not a bad looking revolver though.
It comes with a pocket knife in case you do want to cock it manually. You've got a knife to.
You just get the shank from your Heritage Rough Rider and just pry it back open, and you're all set to go. Trying to stab yourself in the process. So, yeah. Oh man! And then my favorite place to go visit always the Taurus store. I think this is going to open up another tab, but you can go there and you can check out all the parts and stuff. And they've got those Toro conversion kits and stuff like that you can check out. So.
Yeah, they just sent out an email just a few minutes ago. They've got fanny packs now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I rock a
All
fanny
of us
pack
older guys
on
are
a
going,
regular
hold
basis.
on, I got to check my email.
So I've got
I'm
my
thinking
LCP
about it.
Max.
I'm thinking about it.
My LCP Max 380. I with my wallet and the fanny pack and the gun tucked in there, zipped in there. It's like the perfect walk the dog carry out of all the stuff that I love that because I can have a t-shirt over it. I can wear any like shorts that I want to. I can wear no shorts at all if I choose to, and I've got the fanny pack. So you know, I mean, you can do what you want. So
here's the real question: if they're doing a fanny pack now, does that mean Yankee has to start shilling for them?
I don't know, man. I know James Reeve definitely will from TFB TV because he loves it. He's been rocking a fanny pack for years. Him and Nuttin' Fancy. Nuttin' Fancy was very much pro fanny pack back in the day, dude.
But they're back in now.
They're back in style now. Well, because everything from the 90s is now cool again. So
it's just like everything else.
What are you looking for? I'm looking for a fanny pack. Here they got the Toro conversion kits. Gary, I was going to suggest maybe you go this route. They have there's the Taurus fanny pack. They got the GX4 gold Cerakoted slide. If anybody wants to harness their inner bling, you got that as an option too.
Nice.
So, I mean, of all the horrific things you could do to a gun, I am sorry, that's about as tacky as you can get. That's so cheesy. That is. I mean, seriously, guys. I'm just gonna say it. I've never been a fan of gold plated guns unless it's in Call of Duty. So here's your EDC fanny pack for $40.
It's a decent looking one.
Of course, it's got
the 90s
Taurus.
are coming back. Can I wear my pink jacket now with a t-shirt?
Oh yeah, go get your biker shorts on. Go get your Zubas. go get your Columbia
Miami
jacket.
Right.
Go get your
members
Umbro
only.
shorts. Get your Umbro
Everybody's got to have a members only jacket again, right?
That's 80s, Rich.
Oh yeah, I know.
Into the.
Hey,
early
I'd
90s,
rather have the 80s than the 90s. Just saying.
Hey,
but
here's the thing,
members
guys.
only was still a thing going into the beginning of the 90s.
Maybe if you lived in West Virginia or Oklahoma.
No, man, there were guys in Pittsburgh that were still rocking their members only jackets in the like 90, 92, 91, 92.
Those are the guys that still drive the Camaro IROCs, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, they all had their IROCs.
You can't make fun of them because they're worth a lot of money now. Those guys were smart, and the Fox Body Mustang guys, you know? So you do get an elastic strap in here that you can use to put your holster clip on. So that's the one thing it offers. That's like the only thing about this that I see that it offers over just a traditional fanny pack, like the one that I use, which is just a pocket, you know, then I zip it in there and everything just stays pressed up against me. But $40 is I'm not going to say it's steep because whenever you put EDC in any kind of like bag, you can basically double the price of it. It should be about a $20 fanny pack. Let's just get it out there right now.
$20 for the logo.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I paid $15 for mine and it looks almost identical to this. It just doesn't have, I could sew a strap in there or a molly strap in there if I wanted to. I mean, for
the nice thing about that, a lot of them do have they got Velcro on the inside, and then I've seen them where they have the Velcro strap that can go around your Kydex holster.
Yes.
And what that buys for you is something covering up that trigger.
True. Yeah, that's true.
Which is kind of nice if you're going to be reaching into a fanny pack. So
yeah, mine just sits upright, but it's also in a sticky holster, like a pocket holster that doesn't have any kind of a loop on it, so that at least protects it. So yeah, that no negligent discharges yet. So
yeah,
this isn't bad. I mean,
I had one that I used to carry. I had one that I used to carry my AMT hardballer in. That thing, I wore that sucker slap out. Yeah,
and you can spend. I mean, I've seen some of these brands of fanny packs. They'll push $100. I mean, that's not 40's not bad. If you look at what else is out there for tactical fanny packs, I was looking at some of them 70, 80, 90. We're talking top brands like 511 Tactical and stuff like that. They make them. So
yeah, I just can't figure out what the best brand is out there right now.
It don't matter as long as it's brown leather.
There you go, man. That's what they need to do in brown leather. That would definitely be awesome. So,
so
this is the ultimate accessory for your Taurus firearm is the Taurus fanny pack. So
gotta match your belt and your shoes.
I gotta spill the beans. My wife had a fanny pack with her when we went to Busch Gardens about a month ago. And when it started pouring down rain, we put all our cell phones in that fanny pack and it kept them all dry. So
yeah.
There we go.
They're handy.
Well, guys, let's see. Is there anything else you wanted to take a look at from the Taurus catalog? Now they're all Trav, mind tricking you guys into buying something. Is there anything that you want to take a look at? We've covered pretty much all the different models and different series and everything that they offer. So
yeah.
Actually, it's because of Travis P11 that I want to go buy a Rossi lever action now.
Dude, I'm telling you that R92 that they had for $699. I thought about getting it because I could get that and I could get the Rossi revolver for about $400, and for $1,100 I could have two guns with the same caliber, both chambered 357 mag.
Same caliber. There you go.
I love my R92 Rossi. It is such a sweet gun, man.
Did you buy yours brand new?
Yeah,
Hillbilly, you bought it brand new.
Brand new.
How much was it? Was it $700?
It was just a tad over.
Okay,
but my guy gave me a discount or whatever. Now mine's got the polished barrel and all that stuff.
Yeah, but, you got a nice the black one that I saw at Shields was $699, which it's kind of cool because the size of it, it's like I said, it's like a 2/3 scale 30-30. Like it almost feels a little too small for me, but it's just right. Like it'd make a nice little handy gun to have around with you. Nice little, like you're gonna take it for do some camping or do some hiking. You want something light, but you want some decent firepower, and match it up with the revolver. It'd be the perfect like little camping setup for you. Think about that. Think about the power you're gonna run a 357 plus P out of a 16-inch barrel. Dude, you're done, man. That'll take care of it. You know,
it just
they also had him.
They
had Henry's in 44 mag. Also, I was really tempted to pick one up. They just had the basic, just blued model in 44 mag for like $8.99, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
I want to get a basic Henry 3030 or that Marlin, which I had one opportunity to buy one for $10.99, and I didn't get a chance to buy it. Now they're $1,400. But Garage Guy 879 says fanny packs are about as cool as a man bun. Yeah. Now Tony says if you guys would lose the tactical muffin top, then you wouldn't have balance issues. I know, Tony, right? That's the record, really. Tony. I have lost 23 pounds this summer, so I'm getting there, dude. I'm getting down to not a muffin top, more of like a mini muffin top. So Foz says that fashion runs in 20-year cycles. It does, yeah, because everything from the 90s and 2000s is now cool again. Like brands that we had when we were kids are just now they're re-releasing stuff or they're remaking it, like hypercolor t-shirts and the igloo coolers with the radios built into them and stuff.
I'll be quite honest with you. I still and have every year hunted with a fanny pack because it's great. Throw peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there, whatever, you're not, I mean, it's just great to have with you when you're out in the woods. I mean, it honestly is. And you just hope your friends don't see you out there.
Well, that's why you keep your t-shirt over your fanny pack and then nobody has to know that you've got it on. So let me just share this one with you. We can't have a Taurus discussion without mentioning the curve, guys. We got to talk about the Taurus curve. You remember this one? Remember this little gem of a firearm?
Horrible.
Oh, look at that thing, man. So the gun itself is...
Oh, my God, that thing.
The gun was physically curved to the right, I think,
That's
but the
still
slide
too
was
much
straight. So it had the sighting system were lines that were drawn on the back of the slide, and you just covered your target with those lines and hope to God you hit it. Built-in light. Look at that. Had a little convenient pocket clip.
Could you imagine being left-handed and having somebody buy you that thing?
Too bad they don't have the rear view for that thing where you can see the curve on it. It's something.
We can bring one up here real quick. Let's see if we can.
Is it supposed to shoot around corners?
It can.
It's supposed to be curved so it'll fit in your pocket and follow the contour of your.
And it had a little clip-on Kydex trigger cover that was clipped into your pocket, so when you pulled it out, it would pop off. And
horrible idea.
Yeah. Put images here on the rear of that. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Here we go. Let's check this out. Look at that.
What the heck?
It was curved for the contour of your right hip. That's why I said, imagine being left-handed and having somebody buy you that thing.
The slide is normal, but the frame has the bow to it. I would call it the bow, not the curve.
The mag like went in at an angle and had like a weird feeding thing. Yeah.
That thing is messed up.
Yeah.
I don't think they sold a lot of those.
No, they didn't.
You know what's sad is it's going to be in a box, unopened, in 30 years from now. What would pay for your kid's college? I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
It'll be a collector's item you'll see in gun shows.
Ian will be doing a video on it today.
Forgotten Weapons, the gun that everybody wanted to forget.
And we've got the Taurus Curve.
And I mean, it's not.
I'd buy it just for the flashlight.
Like they even make a wallet holster for it you can get if you wanted to, if you want to conceal your curve.
I never bit the bullet on that one.
Oh, and it also had a weird cutback in the barrel too. It had an angle cut on the front of it.
Okay, I want to see a contest. I want to see this versus the credit card gun. Which one is more accurate?
If anybody has one, we need to borrow it for Thunder on the Prairie 2024.
Probably the credit card gun.
Yeah. You get the little flashlight on and the little laser and stuff that bolted on the front of it. You could also get it without the laser too, if I'm not mistaken. They made a non-laser version of it also. Yeah, here's the there's that little clip that would go on it, the little Kydex clip, which I have one of those for P365. So you can pocket carry a P365 loaded with the Kydex cover over the trigger.
Yeah, you had to pinch the magazine and pull it out. There was no mag release.
Yeah, there was no mag release. The mag release was the magazine itself.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're probably going to have to let that one go, guys.
Yeah, you can see right there in that picture. See how it's got the cutout at the bottom of the grip?
Where are we at? Which photo? Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that.
Under the file name, Bad Idea.
That's no.
That awesome.
Oh, that's not a pinch point at all.
No. It's amazing they didn't sell those like hotcakes.
That barrel is just crazy looking.
I'm gonna look something up. We're just gonna check. I'm just curious to see what those are. Maybe somebody's just giving them away as like doorbusters. Yeah, we're gonna see what this thing's going for now.
I'm looking on Arms List, and on Arms List, I'm seeing them from $279 to $299.
Wow.
Nobody wants them,
man.
Nobody wants them. That's exactly the
$499, $400 guys over on Gunbroker.
Wow.
Yeah, they think
no.
That's wishful thinking.
$300 buy it now.
There's one for $300.
It's
$300.
Okay, so what about mags? I mean, not that you'd do a mag change on this, would you? But I mean, like, what if the mags are $99?
That's a good point.
Yeah, good luck finding them. They don't.
What is this, guys? Is this vintage? What are we looking at here? The C45 Thunderbolt. Help me out here, guys. What are we looking at?
45 Colt.
Yeah, but is this something new?
I don't recognize that.
I never heard of it.
The C45 Thunderbolt. Yeah, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. Okay.
Is that a fluted barrel on that?
It has like a rod underneath of it, so it must be some sort of pump action. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a pump.
No, it's not fluted. That's just a reflection coming off of it from the balloon.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a pump.
Wow, this is new.
I have no idea if that's new or something old. I have no idea. I have never seen one of those before.
Okay, so it's got a side gate on it for feeding.
I
know we're not talking Taurus handguns here, but this is kind of cool, man.
Yeah, those came out in 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, the Taurus that time forgot, huh?
Well, I think at that time they were selling some of the Rossi products under the Taurus nameplate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Still ain't never seen one before.
No, that's a new one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, guys, I think we're going to go and wrap it up. We've been going for almost 2 hours now, and we can look up weird Taurus pistols for the rest of our lives if we wanted to. But if you ever want something fun, just go over, look up Taurus Brazil or Taurus Brazil gun website, and look at Taurus's catalog for their non-U.S. market guns. You'd be surprised what they have. You're like, holy crap. Because they've got a lot of guns that they sell in 380 that they don't sell to us either, which is kind of interesting. So, yeah. All right, man, we're going to go and wrap it up, and we're all set. Tony says, does Rossi still make a gallery gun? Yeah, they've got them at Shields. I don't think they've stopped producing them yet. Yeah, they're a little expensive. I want to say they're maybe $250 or something like that, or over $200, which there's not much there, but they're kind of a custom, kind of not custom, but they're kind of a specialized item,
I believe Garage Guy has a video on that.
Okay. Yeah, those gallery guns are pretty sweet. RS-22 is nice, but honestly, the takedown and cleaning on it's not fun. Now that I've done it 3 or 4 times, it's a lot easier, but they're good little rifles for like $110, basically. You can get them in FDE or black, but I'm going to look into that that collapsible stock or that aftermarket stock for the RS-22. That's kind of cool. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let's go ahead and let everybody give us their final plug, and then we'll continue. So remember, guys, we're at Monday. This coming Saturday, there won't be an episode, but there will be an episode on Saturday the 12th. We're going to go back to Saturdays at that point. There won't be one on the 19th because I've got some stuff going on that day, but then we'll continue after that on Saturdays. So if you've missed any of these episodes, just go back and check them out. I try to put these on the Caliber Corner playlist. Hopefully they're all on there. Once in a while, I just forget to add them because I do this through StreamYard. But yeah, we'll just keep on going. So, all right, let's go and close it out. Squibload, we will start up with you. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to bestow upon us?
With regard to Taurus, I mean, it's a more affordable option, and there are some accessories for some models. It's not a bad gun. I used to think it was a cheap gun because it was less expensive, I guess, inexpensive compared to. But Taurus has come a long way since I remember them in the 80s. You know, they've come out with more models. They've come out with I guess models and calibers that other people didn't. Or it's not just a Smith clone or a Beretta clone anymore. They're kind of their own thing.
Yeah.
So I gave them a try, and I'm glad I did. I don't know that I fairly judged them in the past. However, I would say that if you're looking for an entry level revolver or something like that, they're a more affordable option. If you want to get something that's more name brandy or made in America, you know, as your second revolver or something like that, that's not a bad way to go either. But Taurus has some stuff that Smith & Wesson, Colt, and whoever aren't making. So they've come a long way.
Like I said, the G series is a good place to start. And when you get the G series guns, just be careful. Make sure you get a G. If you get a G2C or get a G3, get the ones that have the Glock compatible sights on them, because the rear adjustable sight is nice, but the dots are really hard to pick up. They're very faint. And there are tons of aftermarket sights available for G series pistols. There's tons of them. And then the ones that are Glock sight compatible, the newer G3Cs and the new G3s, you've got 100 options out there for sights. In fact, my PT-111 G2 had actual Trijicon sights that Trijicon made for the PT-111 series, which is insane. So they actually did make sights at one point, illuminated night sights for the PT-111 G2. So you can find the parts out there if you look for them. There's a lot of selection. So, all right, Rich, anything you want to add before we go?
Yeah, on the night sight thing, you can actually order night sights for G2C and that right from Taurus. They have them available. They got Mariglow and a couple other big names in the night sight game have sights for that available directly from Taurus.
Taurus marketing has gotten smart, and a lot of those parts that people would go elsewhere to buy, Taurus is bringing them in-house, the sights, the stainless steel guide rods, maybe aftermarket triggers, mags, you know.
I was about to say, they've even had aftermarket triggers available direct from Taurus on their store website.
Apex were the Apex triggers because they'd been kind of tested.
I don't remember what company it was.
Yeah, so I mean, and then also Lakeline LLC is another company to go check out. Lakeline was kind of the pioneer of the G series aftermarket parts. When nobody else was making stuff for it, they got smart and started making stuff for it too. And I can't imagine how many stainless steel guide rods I probably sold for them, you know. But I love it. I love the change that it made on the gun. It definitely just so much better afterwards. But cool. All right. Anything else, Rich?
Be sure to check out the wrestling show if you like pro wrestling. Saturday nights 8:05 on Wrestling Unloaded, and then on Sunday nights we do this week Unloaded at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Unloaded Media channel. So check both those out. And I just put out a video last week, some point on the holster that I got for the P10C, the tactic, the suppressor radio. They call it suppressor radio. They don't call it tactical, but you know. It's basically their version of a tactical, and you know, it's a leather holster that's ready for a flashlight. So go ahead and check that video out as well.
Very cool. What light's compatible with it? Is it the Streamlight TLR?
No, you can get it. They have them in a variety of lights. I got it for the Olight PL2 Mini Valkyrie.
Okay, sweet, cool, man. All right. Nice strike. Anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, shall not be infringed.
Right on, man. Right on. Okay. And Single Shot, any final words of wisdom?
Oh, not too much. Hope everybody's going to have a good evening tonight. Left of it. But something I think we forgot, unless I'm wrong in my remembrance here, was the Taurus 24/7 series. That was a really sharp-looking semi-auto, really nice setup.
See, weren't those the ones that got were those the ones that got recalled though, or not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
They could be hit or miss on those.
Because that's kind of what led to the people. They would get them back from people, and they basically swapped them out for the PT-111 G2 at that point. So,
yeah.
But no, I think I tested a 24/7 series full size on the channel a long time ago, and it was fine. I mean, I know some people kind of had some issues with them, but that was kind of their teething period to get into the polymer, gun market and stuff. And
I think some of the earlier PT-111s actually were marked 24/7 on them as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe they kind of pushed it over to Millennium, the Millennium series or whatever. Which the Millennium thing only lasted for a while, and then they just went G series after that. So, or maybe the old 24/7s were called the Millenniums, but it was the Millennium G2.
Millenniums, yeah.
The
111 was the continuation of the Millennium. G2. So yeah. The Millennium 24. I don't know. Taurus is like a friggin' billboard of advertisements on their guns. They put more. They put recipes on the side.
And the names back then were horribly long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like anime characters from like a cartoon or something. It's Super Mega Former. Pokemon 24/7 Millennium G whatever. Basically Pokemon edition. Yeah.
It was a good chat tonight. Thanks for the invite, and always have a good chat with you when I have a chance to talk with you anyway. So everybody take care. God bless. America moves by truck.
You know it. All right. And Gary, anything you want to leave us with? Anything you want to say?
Well, I enjoyed the discussion. My channel pretty much cut its teeth on Taurus. So I still pretty good fan of the company and everything. So I don't have any affiliation with them or anything like that. Taurus, I'm out here if you'd like to be, we can
talk. all these little channels always get the Taurus guns before. We can never get Taurus to contact us and say, hey, you want to try this gun before anybody else?
I know.
They'll pick some channels like 400 subs and they give them a chance,
But no, I enjoyed the discussion. Thanks for having me. If you could check out my channel, I'd love to have you.
Absolutely, man. All right. Okay. And Hillbilly Up, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's been a fun time talking about all this, these Tauruses and stuff. I've had a blast. Don't forget on Saturday nights, 9:00 Central, you got Guns, Beer, and Therapy on a live show on Hillbilly Up. And then, of course, just got videos coming out every week. So
right on, man. Guys, get over there and make sure you subscribe. And I'm going to do some e-begging of a different type here. All right. I do have a C channel. I've got a third channel that I'm working on with a good friend of mine that I've known since college, Matt. Live, Love, Nebraska. We are featuring Nebraskan attractions and places to go to and restaurants to check out. Our focus is on the mom and pop, and then also like free places where you can take your family and do stuff in Nebraska. And I've discovered so many cool places I didn't even know were in Nebraska. And so we just got that channel launched. So I'd appreciate if you go over there and sub and check out what we have to offer, and discovering a lot of good places. I think the Thunder on the Prairie 2024 crowd's going to have to go check out when they come here. So
all the ice cream and the barbecue and stuff.
Dude, man, Candy Joe's barbecue. Candy Joe's
barbecue biscuits.
I'm probably going to go pick one of those up tomorrow morning. Yeah. The brisket biscuit.
Oh yeah, that sounds delicious.
You're not e-begging, you're just plugging. E-begging would be, please give me money so that I can buy this and then make a video and get AdSense revenue and write it off on my taxes.
No, Live Love Nebraska is not. We're not taking any advertising money from Live Love Nebraska. Nobody pays us. We pay out of pocket. We spend a lot of money to go eat at these places and do these things. And we're just doing it to get the word out that there's more to Nebraska than just flying over and dropping your stuff as you fly over. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff here to check out. So
yeah, the channel needs to get big enough so it can get its own credit card to put all that stuff on.
Absolutely. We need to get Squib. We're going to feature you on one of our podcasts because you've gone more places in Nebraska than I have. All right. You've seen more Nebraskan historical sites than I've seen in my
there's a
entire
lot.
life.
It's just like what you say. All you have to do is get off the interstate, and there's a lot to see.
I know, right? Yeah, because Interstate 80 gives such a bad example. It's just like Kansas, Gary. There's more to Kansas than just the highway that splits across and goes off to Denver. You know,
That's
there's so
true.
much more to Kansas than that. So a
That's
lot more
true.
geographical variation than what you realize. And when you fly over, just drive
Squid
out to
won't drive
Wyoming.
through Kansas because it's got a turnpike through there.
I've been through Kansas once.
One time he got on the Wichita Turnpike, which has a fantastic McDonald's, by the way. And
we were at we were at some truck stop, and I had to explain to my wife what a lot lizard was.
Oh boy! I bet that turned her face red.
Man, I could make some jokes, but I'm not going to say anything. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so New York Outcast has the microphone drop comment of the day for us here. In 20 years, the curve gun will be coolest in a fanny pack and will sell for $3,000 on up. I wouldn't be surprised. It'll be a highly sought after collectible. It was the unloved stepchild of the Taurus family. Now everybody wants one, or they'll like reissue it, you know, so in different colors. Now, if they'd have done one in FDE, I probably would have bought one. So Robin Eggs green, you know. But anyway, so that was my e-bagging for Live Love Nebraska. So we'll see you guys not this coming Saturday, but the week after on Saturday. And I've already got the next topic posted. We're talking about hiking, man, hiking gear, camping gear. I don't think we've ever had a discussion on that before. We've talked bug out. We've talked about emergency supplies, but I've had an opportunity to do a lot of hiking this summer. And I've learned a lot about the crap that I take with me out into the field, what I need, what I don't need. Squibby, I hope you can make it because you've done more like foot hiking in Nebraska than pretty much anybody else that I know. So I want your insight on boot selection, sock selection.
There's some good hiking in western Nebraska.
I know you've done your share, man. You've done your share. You've worn out some socks that are supposedly indestructible, right? Yeah, there you go. Merino wool. That's all I'm going to say. So,
just in case I can't make it on next Saturday.
No, it's going to be the week after, since
we're week after, whatever. Yeah, in case I can't make it, because sometimes I don't get to bed after doing Gary's show until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But number one camping tip: visit your Army Navy store, folks. Your Army Navy surplus store. You get some of them old mess kits cheap, and they are one of the best things you can have in your camping kit.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Like I did buy my whole bug out bag, all my gear and stuff I got at Shields, and I got inexpensive items that they sell, but you can spend. If you want a carbon fiber fork, okay, go get a carbon fiber fork. You know, it just blows my mind what you could spend on stuff like camping stoves and things like that. It's just crazy money. So yeah. All right, guys, so we're going to let you go. This has been episode number 292, Taurus Firearms, awesome and affordable, or awful and avoidable. Hopefully we gave you some good information so you can make the best call. But in the meantime, I want you guys to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. And the words of Gizzard Gary, bring back the 90s and get a fanny pack. Hey, Felicia,